Be humble. Sit down. Who that thinking that he frontin' on that man?
And welcome in Out of Bounds here on 103.7 The Buzz. Appreciate everybody listening in on this beautiful day here in the great state of Arkansas. John Nabors, Joe Franklin, broadcasting live from the Hoggs Meat Market Studios with you today. And thank you as always for making us a part of your afternoon this afternoon. It is a Trigger Tuesday here on Out of Bounds. So we're going to talk about everything in the sports world that is bothering us. And, of course, we want to hear from you. And you can call or text in at 501-661-1037. Get after us in the Asher Wrecker Live fan feedback. After me on Twitter at BuzzJohnNabors. And today we are going to have Josh Braun, thanks to Matt Black, Allstate Insurance, joining us in the 3 o'clock hour. And looking forward to catching up with him because we know that game against Florida meant a lot to Razorback fans just to win it. You know, historical, first time he ever won in Gainesville. But with Josh Braun, and after talking with him last night, it was pretty incredible to see how much it meant to him, meant to his family, meant to everyone down there. And he had some really funny stories to go along with it, too. So you will not want to miss that interview. And so be sure to be tuning in throughout the entire show, but especially at 3 o'clock. And then 2 o'clock in the afternoon, we're going to have Curtis Wilkerson, hogsports.com, joining us. As you heard in the intro, we'll recap the Razorback basketball game there, too, and get a chance to hear from him firsthand. And I want to remind everybody, too, with at least here on Out of Bounds with our NIL guys of not only Josh Braun, but also L. Ellis, both thanks to Matt Black, Allstate Insurance. If you haven't done it yet, if you haven't watched the live stream, we post the full interviews and with video and everything on our Facebook, on our YouTube, and on our I guess it's just Facebook and YouTube because you can't post, at least on the Buzz Twitter account, you can't post anything longer than 10 minutes, I believe. But on Instagram, too, on our Instagram page for all 103.7 The Buzz. So you can check them out there. If you ever miss those interviews, you can view it that way or wherever podcasts are found. So it's amazing the technology that we can do and making it happen. And also, I've noticed when talking to both L. Ellis and Josh Braun, they are definitely college kids because they're like, oh, yeah, can we do this? Can we record at 9:30 tonight? It's like, 9:30? It's like, yeah, 9:30, man. It's just someone I'm going to get in. I don't know. I mean, yeah, 9:30 is fine, I guess. But
that's not late at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's not to me. It isn't to me because I usually stay up late. But just thinking like of the things I would want to be doing at 9:30 at night, though, doing an interview isn't one of the things that pops up. But hey, listen, I'm on their schedule, and I'm sure as student athletes between class and football or basketball and then social life and everything, it's probably the only time that they actually get to unwind and chill and have some free time to do it.
They'd rather do it late at night than early in the morning. They probably say, hey, we can do it at 1 a.m. if it's opposed to 6 or 7 a.m.
Yeah, probably so. I know when I was in college, I'd rather do it that way. But I don't blame them. I don't blame them at all. But it's good to have them on and good to have it recorded and good to talk with them there. And it was also good last night. As you're in the intro, Arkansas basketball off to a good start. 1-0. You know, you can't go undefeated the whole year unless you go 1-0. And they took care of business against Alcorn State by a final score of 93-59. Nice offensive performance. Arkansas shoots 52% from the field, 40% from three-point land as they hit 12 threes in this game. Go 12 of 30. Did okay at the free throw line at 68%, 25 of 37. But we wanted to see what this team would look like in a real game, how they would look coming off of that Purdue exhibition game. Would they kind of go in with a little bit of a hangover or maybe feeling themselves too much? But I would say from beginning to end, Arkansas looked pretty good, pretty dominant. Got sloppy and sluggish there at times, but still, they did what they needed to do against a solid team in Alcorn State by winning 93-59.
Yeah, as far as the talk about the hangover, don't necessarily know where that came from, simply because of the opponent. It was going to be hard to have any kind of hangover or look bad against the opponent that you're playing in the next game. Now, of course, yeah, they could have been flying high because they just knocked out Purdue, but playing Alcorn State and nothing, not taking anything away from them, but that is a much lesser opponent than Purdue and then Arkansas. And so we know that these early season matchups, that's what these games are made for, to be able to work things out within the roster, play a bunch of players. You're not going to see this many players play when the season really gets going as far as conference play or even this tournament that's coming up. You're not going to see as many players play, but now's the time to be able to get some of that stuff worked out.
Yeah, in fact, that's what even Coach Muss said after the game last night is being able to play. I mean, everybody played in this game. I think he may have put out Riley Hall and Anthony Ruda out there, Coach Ruda, if that was the case, because everybody got minutes in this game. And the only players that really played, or I should say the longest, was L. Ellis and Devo Davis. Devo played close to 24 minutes. L. Ellis played 23 minutes. Trevin Brazil played 22 minutes. But pretty much everybody else played under 20 minutes the rest of the time. And some of them got some really good quality ones. And it was really good to see, there's a lot of things to get into, but it was really good to see Jalen Graham because, we had heard that it must have made it sound like, at least after the Purdue game, like, yeah, he may, we don't know what his time frame is or his timetable of getting back. He's been having those back issues, but he was able to go to last night and really, did a great job in considering how he's been overcoming an injury. He had played 14 minutes, went 4 of 6 from the field, had 8 points and 8 rebounds, and led the team in rebounds. Now, why is that significant? Because what did we hear about what Jalen Graham was going to have to work on all offseason? Well, the reason that he's coming back and what he was going to have to improve on, well, it was his rebounding. And I say that if you get 8 points and 8 rebounds in 14 minutes of play, especially when you've been dealing with an injury, that's a pretty good, nice little start to get back into the swing of things. So was really impressed by Jalen Graham. And, of course, Trevin Brazil looked great. And you got Caleb Battle, my goodness. You see why he's everyone's so high on him. 21 points out of the young man in only 20 minutes, less than 20 minutes of play. So they got a lot of options, they got a lot of pieces, but it's just good to see some of these guys continuing to figure out their role on the team and what they're going to be like moving forward.
Even a guy like Dennis J. Harris, where he's somebody we've heard plenty about a lot of these players on the roster, hadn't really heard much about him, and then you see him get in the game, and you see him being productive when he's on the court. So he's somebody that stood out simply because he's not somebody that everybody has been talking about, and then you see him on the court, and he's really productive.
Oh, yeah. And that's where, like with Muss, and we'll play some audio from Coach Muss from last night's game and the Raise Your Hog update and probably throughout the show. But one thing that is you could tell in the way he phrased it, I'm not going to try to put words in his mouth, but he was basically saying in so many words that we have so many players that are high-quality guys that can give us something, that we have this luxury early in this year to where, hey, I know what I'm going to get out of Devo Davis, or I know what I'm going to get out of Trevin Brazil or whatever, but what I have enough of these guys where, okay, there's not these projects where it's like, okay, let's figure out maybe later this season or maybe next year or, maybe we just need them as a practice player. It's like you got legitimately 12 guys on this roster that can at least give you something. And so that's what's been so great to see in the amount of players get playing time. I don't think you're going to see the roster moving around and the lineups moving around like this all season long, but it's just nice, I'm sure, for Muss to have that luxury where he's like, hey, I feel great about all these guys giving us something at any given time. It's just a matter of them figuring out in their own way and how they play and in their role how much they're going to be able to contribute to us this year.
Over the past 2 seasons, it's been an issue where you've had 3 or 4 players that had to play 35 minutes plus, and with this roster that's in place, it doesn't seem like at this moment that will be that type of issue where you have to have certain players that are playing 35 minutes plus, playing almost the whole game, because you do have other players you can turn to. Now, will it still be some of the same? Because Muss does have a certain philosophy of how he likes to deal with his rotation. It could still be that, but you do have other players that, let's say if you play, players 25 to 30 minutes, then you have options that you can bring other players in and you can extend that rotation.
Oh, yeah, because there's many games where you have players in foul trouble, guys that are gassed, maybe guys that are banged up, because even Muss said going into this game, apparently, and of course it's just after we get done interviewing him, but L. Ellis, 2 days ago, they didn't even know if he was going to play last night because he's been dealing with a knee injury. They had an MRI, and it looks okay, but they didn't know if he was even going to play, and last night played 23 minutes. So, he was able to do some good things. They had Tremont Mark, of course, really efficient. I love Tremont Mark. He might be the quietest guy when it comes to his efficiency, but he goes 4 of 6 from three-point land last night. 6 of 8 from the field in just 21 minutes, and also has 3 assists and a steal. So good job out of them. And we got to see Bay Fall for the first time. We didn't get to see him against Purdue. Got to see Bay Fall, which you can tell he is a freshman. He's got a lot of freshman raw ability, but a ton of upside. But between him and also Layden Blocker, who played 10 minutes, a lot of fouls between the two of them, but you see some good things out of them. You really do. So I'm excited to see continuing to see what this team looks like going forward and the amount of options that they have. And, you talked about, Joe, the amount of players that they have and the minutes that they could share and everything. Mekhi Mitchell was a guy that was playing at sometimes last year 30-plus minutes in certain games. And he was a guy that was, I think, averaged 24 minutes a game. I'm not saying he won't this year, but, I mean, he came off the bench and only played 3.5 minutes. So that's just showing you the difference in where they feel like not only with the size, but the strength and the experience of these guys against Alcorn State, where they took care of business and looked really good. And great to see Muss in mid-season form. Got a technical. Very upset last night. And Trevin Brazil got ejected from last night's game. So
yeah, you never want to see that happen where players are getting ejected, though. It doesn't matter who you're playing against.
No, and it wasn't anything malicious. He left the bench area. As we know, that's an automatic ejection because there was a little chippiness at times. I think it was the hard foul that Willie Anderson had on Caleb Battle that just kind of an instinct there for Brazil to get off the bench. But got ejected for that, and Muss was very unhappy with some of the officiating going on there. So I think I don't know if I can't remember if I said it on the show or maybe I tweeted about it, but I was like, over under the amount of player/coach ejections for Arkansas this season. I put it at 2.5, and I'm feeling pretty good because I went over. And other people were like, oh, come on, that's not going to be crazy. I was like, well, 1 for 1.
You said players and coaches combined?
Yeah, for the season.
Well, yeah, I mean, one more and it's it.
Yeah, you're right there.
It's over.
You're right there. I'm not saying that they want them to get ejected and whatnot, but just, sometimes coaches do it to make points, to get their point across. When you've seen Muss get ejected from a few games at Arkansas, and he's not the only one. I mean, Nolan Richardson was also notorious for it, but it was a great game for Arkansas. Again, sloppy at times, but a fun team, a lot of offense, great shooting, and can't wait to see him in action again this Friday night in Bud Walton Arena against Gardner-Webb, which we'll have the broadcast right here on 103.7 The Buzz. But it's a Trigger Tuesday on Out of Bounds. Want to hear from you. What'd you make of the Razorback basketball game last night? Feeling good about it? Did you even think anything of it? We'll talk about that. And we'll also get into the NFL game last night, which was disgusting if you're a Jets fan, which I am. But we'll talk about that and some of the updates going on in the sports world. So stay with us here on Out of Bounds on a Trigger Tuesday.
Are you still on the sidelines? Then it's time you suit up and get in the game. Download Arkansas's favorite sports wagering app, Bet Saracen, today.
This is SportsCenter.
In college basketball across the Natural State, Wood Rock beat Texas State 71-66 to open their season. Former Razorback and Texas A&M Aggie KK Robinson led the way for the Trojans, recording 24 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, and 5 steals in the game. Wood Rock plays UIC on Friday. Central Arkansas fell to Tulsa 70-53. The Bears play Hendrix on Friday. Arkansas State lost to Wisconsin 105-76. They'll play Bowling Green in the MAC Sunbelt Conference Challenge on Friday. Pine Bluff lost to Missouri 101-79. Junior guard Kyle Milton from Conway had 34 points on just 10 shots as he shot 15 of 20 from the free throw line. The Golden Lions will host Champion Christian in Pine Bluff on Friday. And in college basketball tonight, 20th ranked Baylor will host Auburn at 8. TV coverage for that game will be on ESPN. I'm Christian Weaver with the Buzz Radio Network.
Every Tuesday morning during basketball season, you can hear Caleb Battle when he checks in with the guys on Morning Mayhem. It's made possible by Edwards Food Giant. Edwards Food Giant, the meat people. The only stop you'll have to make for all your family's grocery needs. Caleb Battle on your home for Arkansas Razorbacks basketball, 103.7 The Buzz.
Arkansas Brewskis is excited about their second location, and it's time to add to the team. Brewskis North is hiring servers, bartenders, cooks, and managers. To apply, drop by our downtown location and fill out an application. If you want to work in a fun, professional environment, this is for you. Brewskis North is hiring servers, bartenders, cooks, and managers. Apply in person at Brewskis Downtown. For more info, check us out online at brewskispubandgrub.com. Brewskis, your home for lunch, happy hour, and late night.
Stacked Commercial Truck and Trailer Repair is not only truck and trailer focused. They service and repair all types of equipment: forklifts, boom lifts, excavators, dozers, loaders, and more. From warehousing to excavating, they've got you covered. Go see why Stacked is known for having some of the friendliest staff and most knowledgeable technicians in the industry. For trucks, trailers, RVs, material handling, or construction equipment, Stacked Commercial Truck and Trailer in Whitehall.
So have you been living life with pain and you keep saying, well, I'm going to go to the doctor, but I really don't want to do the surgery and I don't want to be on pain meds forever? Well, I have an option for you. It's called QC Kinetics. Hey, everybody, it's RJ Hawk. I just had a buddy the other day that came up to me and he said, hey, look, I keep hearing your ads. I'm going to give them a try. What's the number? I'm going to tell you right now, 501-222-8440. Look, there is absolutely no reason that you need to keep living with all this joint pain. If you've got hip pain, back pain, shoulder pain, knee pain, you owe it to yourself to go by for this free consultation to QC Kinetics. There's people all over Central Arkansas that are using QC Kinetics right now, and it's changing their life. It's giving them their life back. They use properties from your own body to heal your body. So there's no surgery, no downtime, and especially no drugs. Give them a call today for that free consultation, 501-222-8440. That's 501-222-8440. 501-222-8440.
Did you know Arch Marine is the kayak leader in Central Arkansas? Right now, get 20% off all feel-free kayaks. All the prices are falling on kayaks this month. Don't forget, we repair ATVs. Your granddaddy trusted Arch Marine, and so can you.
Is your heating system ready for winter? Middleton Heat and Air is here to keep your family safe and warm through even the coldest Arkansas winter. Schedule a safety check for your system before it gets cold. Our experts also offer free estimates on replacements with no overtime rates from 8 to 8, even on weekends. See why we're the most trusted name for HVAC in the state. Call Middleton today at 501-922-3575.
Willie D's Rock and Roll Piano Bar open every Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Cold drinks and dueling pianos. Deep Nightclub downstairs hosts karaoke on Tuesdays and DJ Spin on Friday and Saturday nights. Visit WillieD'sPianoBar.com.
Same great deals, all new location for Hoggs Meat Market in North Little Rock at 3901 JFK Boulevard. Call them today at 501-758-7700 for all their specials at Hoggs Meat Market, the steak people. You're listening to Out of Bounds with John Nabors and Joe Franklin.
Complete, lots of room. Jaden Wilson's got a chance to go. Inside the 40, inside the 30, to the 20, to the 10. Touchdown, Arkansas. Touchdown, Arkansas. Isaac Tesla threw the home run block. Jaden Wilson scores the touchdown, and they're excited at War Memorial Stadium.
On 103.7 The Buzz.
It is a Trigger Tuesday here on Out of Bounds. Appreciate everybody listening in this afternoon. And if you want in on the conversation, you can call or text in at 501-661-1037. In fact, we were talking about Razorback basketball last night, taking care of business against Alcorn State. And moving on to 6-0 against Alcorn State. So, for whatever that's worth. But still, nice little performance out of Arkansas getting the dub. And in fact, from our Southern Structural Solutions text line from 501 says, John, it was early, and it was Alcorn State, but 15 turnovers against what would some deem a lesser opponent is unacceptable. So, not that I disagree, but still early in the year, still had a lot of different players playing, different rotations. And not saying it's good, but
there's a lot of truth to that. But when you come away with a win and the margin that they did, it is something that can be looked past, but could be a problem against better opponents.
Well, what makes me feel also better about it is you had 20 assists. So you had 20 assists to 15 turnovers. That's a good ratio because Alcorn State had 16 turnovers. They only had 7 assists. So if you can keep that ratio in check, that's also really good. Because like Jeremiah Davenport, for instance, cracks me up. I love that guy. But he did not have great shooting now. He went 1 of 6 from the field. Well, he also went 1 of 6 from 3 because that's the only shots that he took.
There was a point in the game also where in the second half it was pretty much even as far as points scored on both sides.
Yeah.
So Arkansas outscored them by 10, which that's a positive also where they come out in the second half and they don't play as well as they did in the first half, but they still outscored them.
Yeah, still looked a little sluggish there. And, Davenport had some really good passes. That it was good to see also Trevin Brazil, 3 dunks in the first 4 minutes of the game, it felt like. And that one where he just yoked on that dude was really cool. So
that's what he does.
Man, he's just that's my favorite play. My favorite play Arkansas runs is when Trevin Brazil dunks the ball because it seems like it's pretty efficient and it works out pretty well. If he can just do more of that, that'd be great. But yeah, he's a freak athlete, man. And love seeing him out there playing that the way he was. And got a great season ahead. It should be a lot of fun. Let's go to the phone lines and have Razorback Bob in Hot Springs. What's up, Razorback Bob?
Hey, good afternoon, John. Good afternoon, sir. Freaky Joe.
Hey, what's up, Razorback Bob?
John, hey, man, John, you, in the last, 8-10 years, Joe has worn so many hats and has done so much for the Buzz that you're going to call him Freaky Joe. You got to put that sir in front of there.
All right. Appreciate it.
Hey, listen, guys, I want to direct your attention to something that I've been thinking about for a little bit. And after the Purdue game, I saw an interview with Trevon Martin, and he made a statement that Joe got me to thinking. He said, "We are a team of tough guys." And I got thinking about that. And, of course, there's a lot that goes into a championship type team. Coaching has a lot to do with it. Character has a lot to do with it. But there's three things that I think that factor in when you talk about a championship team. And that's physical ability, of course, talent. And you got to be tough. But I got to thinking about the toughness part and the mental toughness that I believe this team has. The will to win is got to be built into where you'll go above and beyond. And I believe, Joe, and I believe, John, that this team that we're looking at mentally, the will to win is probably the toughest team that we've had since Corliss Williamson in that bunch. Now, we've had some great players. Jay Will was one of them. Isaiah Joe was one of them. And you may have 2 or 3 or 4 players, but when you got a team that is physically gifted, that's a tough guy, but that is mentally tough, John, you may not know this, but 2 weeks after we hired Coach Muss, on drive time, I predicted in 4 years, when he's here 4 years, we'd win national championship. Well, I may have missed it a year, but I feel good about this team, and I feel good about this year being our year. But anyway, I just wanted to get y'all's comments on the mental toughness of this team. And y'all have a great day.
All right. Appreciate it, Razorback Bob. Well, by the way, we won't count the COVID year, so you still got time to get your prediction right. But I know, it's to me, it's fun to get excited about, and there's reasons to get excited about it. But it's just so tough to, after seeing what happened last year and knowing the excitement that came along with it and the injuries and everything, is the potential there? Absolutely. Is the experience there? Absolutely. Is the mental toughness there? I think it is, because you have that experience of guys that have played at major college basketball teams beforehand and guys that have been on Arkansas before. But as we know, man, college basketball is just a crazy thing sometimes where you never know what to expect. You never know what happens in the tournament. You never know when you'll go on the road and lose to a team you should beat. It's just sometimes a lot of unpredictability, but everything is in place, and I think the potential is there for sure for Arkansas to make this one of the more special years that they've ever had.
There are players on this team that have played a lot of basketball. If you look at the entire roster, there's 9 players that are either seniors, fifth-year seniors, or grad assistants. So think about that. More than half the roster they're older players altogether. So that in itself can bring some of that toughness and mental toughness just because they've been in the game for so long.
Yeah, it's like, look at Tremont Mark, who I think was one of the guys Razorback Bob brought up. I mean, that guy was at Houston, playing significant role there at Houston. Kelvin Sampson's a heck of a coach. That guy, what he's done in every step in college basketball and making the runs in the NCAA tournament, you don't think that they had to be tough to play for Kelvin Sampson, to be tough to have 30-plus wins each year, to be tough to make the runs they did in the NCAA tournament? Of course they did. And that's where Tremont Mark is going to be able to help this team out. Him and so many others. You got to be tough to play for Coach Muss and to play for Arkansas and to play here. So I'm not ever going to be worried about this team. We'll see what happens when they get down, maybe in games, but I'm not going to be worried about this team's mentality at any point. It seems like it's a great spot and it's in a great place. And even when we talk to L. Ellis, he's definitely feeling like this is a special team that could do a lot of special things. So I totally agree, Razorback Bob. Let's go to Brent, who's in Stuttgart. What's up, Brent?
What's up, John and Joe? Sir, what's up, Sir Joe Franklin?
What's up, Brent?
Wanted to ask Joe. I saw yesterday, before getting to basketball, I saw yesterday where the receiver for the Steelers, I believe he played at Clemson.
He played at Georgia, George Pickens. Yeah. Yeah.
No. That just got reinstated by the NFL for was suspended.
Martavis Bryant, yes.
Yes. He played at Clemson, right?
Yes, he did. He did.
Okay. So how long has he been out? How long has he been out the league, Joe?
5 years. So 5 years ago, that was the last time he played in the NFL. Now, he just played in the XFL this past season, and with some of those spring leagues, he's had other opportunities. But, yeah, he is getting some looks from NFL teams. He's 31 years old, really talented player.
Wow. But this basketball team last night, I may be wrong, but I don't think we're going to have our early January swoon this year.
Mm-hmm. Never want to say ever, but I mean, I don't think so either, Brent. But man, it's a tale as old as time. Arkansas having a tough start to the SEC slate.
I agree with you, but for some reason, this team's about they're almost old enough to be collecting Social Security. You know that, right?
They're definitely they're veterans for sure.
Well, the average age is probably 25.
Well, I don't know if it's that old, but yeah, it's up in the probably 22, 23, something like that. Yeah.
But what are we supposed to think about this Auburn game coming up? I mean, I thoroughly expect the Razorbacks to win because I don't believe Peyton Thorne can play dead in a Western movie.
Brent, you've been saying that all season, and they continue to get better. They are getting better right now.
Joe. But I think we're getting better, Joe. I think, unfortunately, it took us to the 10th or the 9th week of the year to peak. But at least we peaked, and I think we're headed in the right direction.
Well, I can tell you this, Brent. I mean, I don't think the passing offense for Auburn's great. Peyton Thorne isn't great, but people may not realize that Auburn is one of the best rushing teams in the SEC. They average almost 200 yards rushing. So it's like they got an element to their offense that can be pretty effective and that can get after it against Arkansas. And also, another thing, too, that people may not realize is that Auburn's one of the best teams at causing turnovers. So that could be a factor into this as well.
And one more thing before I let you go. Don't you wish we'd made the switch at offensive coordinator about 3 weeks earlier?
I wish they would have made it after they hired it.
Can't do anything about that now, Brent, but move forward.
I know you can't go. I know you can't go backwards, but I wish we had. I'm with you, John. I thought it was a good hire, but I think we should have seen quick that it wasn't and redo.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Brent, I can tell you this, and this is something I actually just learned a little bit yesterday and had a follow-up on it, that there was some conversations about there being a change even earlier than what there was. There were conversations about it, and they didn't do it, but it was something that it was a long time coming, and now it just makes me wonder if they would have made a move earlier, like they maybe originally first discussed, what would have happened. I don't know, but again, you can't look at it that way.
Exactly, because I've heard the same thing, John, that they talked about it for, there was a possibility weeks before they could have done it. But you don't know. You can't go, let's just move forward and win 7 games. Let's see, no, we'd have to go 6-6, right?
Yep, 6-6, but you're on track with the 7 because if you add the bowl game, then they could get to 7.
I'm not opposed to going 7-5 or
7-6.
No, 7-6.
Yeah. Well, at this point, everybody, if you go if you go 7-6, everyone's signing up for that right now. No questions asked.
No questions asked, and Sam Pittman's coach of the year.
Well, I don't know about all that.
Right.
Maybe coach of the final quarter or third of the season. We'll give him that one. But yeah,
we'll handle that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I appreciate it, Brent. Thanks for calling in. Yeah, no, right? Because to me, right now, if you're looking at the SEC, as much as it pains me to say it, if I had a vote, which I don't, but if I had a vote on the SEC Coach of the Year right now, I'd actually vote for Lane Kiffin. I really would. Because last year, they had a great offense, awful defense, and this year they've actually really stepped up their game defensively, and they've got back on track. And I hate to say it, but that's who would be my vote for Coach of the Year this year.
They have a prove-it game coming up this week. They came up short in one test, and they actually passed the test against LSU, so they've had 2 games so far. Bama, LSU, they split on those. They play Georgia this week, so it'll be another opportunity to see kind of where they are.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not going to pick Ole Miss to win that game, but if they could find a way to do that, then, man, it's going to be a weird vibe just in the SEC in general. Let's go to Chuck, who's in Bryant. What's up, Chuck?
What's up, y'all?
What's up, man?
Hey, earlier caller was talking about the mental toughness of this team. I would think that the maturity of the team is probably more of what he's talking about. We haven't really faced any real trials yet, but I do like the fact that some of the best players on the team are being asked to come off the bench, and instead of that getting in their feelings like it could have when you've got McDonald's All-American 18-year-olds that get into their feelings, for being benched. These guys, they've been through it. Some of them they're on their 3rd school by now, and they just want to find a role that they can play that's gonna benefit them in their career. I was listening to the interview with Caleb Battle earlier, and they were asking, they're like, okay, you scored 20 points and completely dominated the game, but you did it coming off the bench. And his response was he trusts Muss's program. It's a proven program, so there's no reason for him to argue. However he can be a part of that winning team, he's okay with it. He doesn't need to be part of the starting 5. And having players that have that kind of maturity and self-awareness is the kind of thing that is going to make us weather the storms this year better than previous years. I'm not saying anything. Well, clearly, we've had some great teams, but a lack of maturity was one of our thorns last year. I don't think we're going to have that problem this year.
No, I don't think so either. And in fact, yesterday when we had L. Ellis on, he kind of said something similar, Chuck, of saying with Muss and how much he trusts the program. And one thing that he wants to be remembered by at the end of the year, he didn't say anything specific as far as individual accomplishments. He's just like, I want to be remembered as a winner because I want to win, and that's why I came here, to win. And that's why I'm under Coach Muss, to win. So, yeah, you feel like you got not only mature guys, but a group of guys that are pretty selfless, and they just all want to be able to be successful as a team.
Yep, that's right. All right, y'all, we'll pick.
All right, appreciate it. Chuck, thanks for calling in. And also just, hearing – I listened to a little bit of Caleb Battle, which I finally get used to calling him Caleb. I kept wanting to say Khalif, but it's Caleb Battle. Hearing him and, things he said about the program and about coming to Arkansas and L. Ellis and what he said. I even heard some things from Jeremiah Davenport. They've all been in from the get-go, and they're excited about everything, and just to see their roles that are defined and where they came from. It's like, guys want to play, guys want to be successful, but they want to be a part of a winning program, and they want to be a part of a winning team. And L. Ellis even said that's one of the reasons why he came back to college, because he didn't want his final year in college to be that one of Louisville last year, where I think they won 5 games, something like that. So, yeah, they want to be a part of a winning program, and you can tell by the maturity that they have. They feel like they got it at Arkansas. Savage is in Cabot. What's up, Savage?
What's up, fellas? You talk about things that trigger you, and as far as commentators, Bill Walton is at the top of my list of somebody I can't stand. I've got a new number 1, and it's Manny Watkins.
Oh man! Wow. What has Manny done?
I want him to talk about the basketball game. I don't care about the audience shoes. I don't care about this fly that just flew by your ears and the guy that's next to you. Talk about the basketball game. That's all I ask you to do. Commentate the basketball game. Have y'all listened to me?
Yeah, a bit. Nothing has stood out from that standpoint where he's talking about a bunch of random things.
Yeah, I'll be honest, Savage.
I get it's ESPN Plus. John, I need you to apply for this job.
No.
ESPN Plus.
I would be
Somebody.
Well, I mean, listen, if they asked me to do it, I'd probably say yes for fun. But no, I don't know. I would probably just state the most obvious things. I'd be like John Madden out there. He'd be like, hey, you know what? When you got Caleb Battle over there open for a three and he makes the shot, it looks really good. Like I would just be obvious about it. But I tell you what, I listen to. It's going to sound like I'm a company man, which I am, but I listened to the Buzz honestly and Chuck and Z last night during the game. I just have this thing where I sync up the audio with the TV and do it that way.
Right.
So I didn't get a chance to hear Manny, but
Savage, now that you pointed it out, we're going to pay more attention to it.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
It's just some random stuff. The job I want, guys, is that guy that sits behind Muss and moves that Diet Coke every time. Give me that job.
That's
I want to know what that guy gets paid.
That's old Mike Kaywood. That's the SID right there for Arkansas. Yeah. Well, that was funny too that you brought that up. Yeah, appreciate it, Savage. Thanks for calling in. It's funny when you brought that up too, because last night listening to the broadcast on the Buzz, how many times like Chuck would be going through the game and then the call doing play-by-play, and then I would almost get like shocked because suddenly the loudest noise would come through the broadcast. And what it was just Muss, who is he stands sometimes right there next to Chuck and Z, and when he's screaming, it almost feels like he's screaming into the radio microphone there too. So, that was pretty funny last night. But no, I didn't watch the television broadcast. But I like Manny. Manny's a good guy. I like Manny. He does a good job for what it is. But they're just trying to find local people that can do those things because it doesn't pay a whole lot, and they're just like, hey, who's in town? Like, let's get them over there.
That's an odd way to put it out there. Hey, we need somebody. Don't pay a lot, but we need somebody. We got to have it.
Hey, you love basketball, right? Here's a free ticket to the game, and you get to talk about it. Like, it gives you that vibe. Because I think Kiko Hadar used to do some of that, too.
Kiko did.
Yeah, so they've had a few players do it.
Blake Edens?
Yes. Dude, I loved it when Blake did it. I know he's a busy man and can't get up there very often. But, yeah, Blake, what was it? The Here Comes Santa Claus. He was waiting to say that one during those games. So, yeah, I loved it when Blake did it. But still, just listen to the Buzz. It's the best way to listen to it anyways. We got more Out of Bounds on Trigger Tuesday and what's trending in the world of sports coming up next.
Hi, neighbor. It's Garen with Shamrock Roofing. Insurance deny you coverage on that roof? You won't be denied at Shamrock. Visit shamrockroofer.com for a chance to win a new roof. Absolutely free. Just visit shamrockroofer.com, where one call does it all.
At Eat My Catfish, fall is our favorite time of the year, and football season isn't the only thing making a comeback. Available now, our famous shrimp gumbo and Cajun boudin balls make their return to the menu. Order online at eatmycatfish.com. Eat local, eat fresh, Eat My Catfish.
ABC tomorrow.
It's country music's biggest night.
The CMA Awards, live. With performances by Luke Bryan, Lainey Wilson, Jelly Roll, and K. Michelle. Old Dominion with Megan Maroney. Carly Pierce featuring Chris Stapleton. Tanya Tucker with Little Big Town. And more.
The best in country music!
Luke Bryan and Peyton Manning host.
The CMA Awards live.
Tomorrow, 8/7 Central on ABC. And stream next day on Hulu.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Thanksgiving is almost here, which means it's time to start thinking about your holiday plans. This year, save time along with the worry and hassle and let the team at Edwards Food Giant do it for you. Their turkey dinner includes the turkey as well as their signature cornbread dressing, giblet gravy, cranberry sauce, and dinner rolls. All fully cooked, homemade, and ready for you to heat and serve to your family. If that's not enough, their deluxe turkey dinner also includes sweet potato casserole, green beans, and apple pie. Now that's what I call a Thanksgiving spread. Click on edwardsfoodgiant.com to view their full menus and find out how to order your dinner.
Did you know that feeling sluggish or weighed down could be a sign that your digestive system isn't working at its best? Taking Metamucil every day can help. Metamucil fiber powders help promote your daily digestive health using a plant-based fiber called psyllium. The gelling action of this special fiber traps and removes waste so you can feel lighter and more energetic. Metamucil, promoting digestive health for a better you. Learn more at metamucil.com. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go, but I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there, providing hot meals, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love.
They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding.
To learn more, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
It's fall, and you know that means schools are back in. Leaves will be changing soon. Oh, and it means football. Friday night lights and action-packed weekend. And Chris Crane Hyundai gets you there in style and with plenty of room to bring all your tailgate gear and crew of super fans. Get America's Best Warranty, 10 years, 100,000 miles, and Hyundai Assurance.
Right now, get up to $3,000 off new Hyundais this fall at Chris Crane Hyundai on Museum Road in Conway and online at chriscranehyundai.com.
Chosen as one of Arkansas's best places to work 8 years in a row, Rainwater Holt & Sexton is hiring premier paralegals and legal assistants with an emphasis on bilingual Spanish-speaking candidates at all locations. Rainwater Holt & Sexton's mission is to compassionately represent injured and disabled Arkansans. With generous benefits and competitive pay, Rainwater Holt & Sexton is a destination employer hiring the best. We are also seeking bilingual Spanish-speaking attorneys to join our team. Apply today at callrainwater.com.
Fire up the grill this summer with the highest quality of meats from Hoggs Meat Market and their new location off JFK Boulevard in North Little Rock. Hoggs Meat Market, the steak people. You're listening to Out of Bounds with John Nabors and Joe Franklin.
Y'all better put him in the Heisman. You better put him up there. I'm tired of him being number 3, number 4.
We got that wood right here, baby.
Somebody better look at this guy. He's the best football player in the country, and his name's not being mentioned. Lou Holtz, Mark May. Number 5, you better look at him a little closer. He's a football player.
On 103.7 The Buzz.
If you're shopping for a vehicle, you want to get to Gwatney Chevrolet. Gwatney has best deals in the market, been doing it 60-plus years. Give them a call, 501-982-2102. Red tag sale is going on at Gwatney Chevrolet. 1.9% is available on a 2023 Silverado Crew Cab, and you can either get that or $2,000 in total cash allowance. 2024 Equinox, 1.9%, or $1,000 in total cash allowance. Make the trip to the Gregory Street exit in Jacksonville. Shop them online, GwatneyChevrolet.com. You can see all the deals, the cash allowances, the rebates, even appraise a vehicle, see just how much it's worth. They're giving thousands over book value, whether you trade that vehicle in or you sell it to Gwatney Chevrolet. Get a deal started on GwatneyChevrolet.com before making a trip to the Gregory Street exit in Jacksonville. See the entire inventory of new and pre-owned vehicles on GwatneyChevrolet.com and get a service scheduled today. They have convenient service hours throughout the week. Also Saturday, 7 a.m. until noon. In case you can't make it throughout the week, it's Gwatney Chevrolet, Arkansas's #1 Chevy dealer. Gwatney Chevrolet, GwatneyChevrolet.com.
It is a Trigger Tuesday here on Out of Bounds, and we are going to have Curtis Wilkerson of HogSports.com join us in about 15 minutes. And also, we'll have Josh Braun joining us, thanks to Matt Black Allstate Insurance, in the 3 o'clock hour. So it's going to be a fun-filled and full show. So if you want to get in for your Trigger Tuesday, you can text in 501-661-1037. Also, the Asher Wrecker Live fan feedback, doing it that way as well. But there are a few things happening in the world of sports, so let's go ahead and talk about what's trending.
What's Trending in Sports is brought to you by Arkansas's own West Rock Coffee. Join West Rock Coffee, the Razorbacks, and their 1.5 million farmers around the globe. It's fall, so now it's time for your team to stock up on coffee, tea, and water delivered directly to your business. Contact them at westrockcoffee.com or 833-886-JAVA today.
All right, what's trending in the world of sports? Haven't talked much about it, and that's okay by me, but we still got to mention it. Last night, Monday Night Football, the Chargers take care of business against the New York Jets by a final score of 27-6. It was a pretty putrid effort offensively by the New York Jets, but definitely had some good plays there by the Chargers. Because I feel bad for the Jets defense, where Justin Herbert did not complete a single touchdown pass, went 16 of 30. Did have Eckler get 2 touchdown runs, but had some offensive gaffes that led to some defensive touchdowns, and just really wasn't enough for the Jets to overcome. But yeah, it's just still tough go for them. And Zach Wilson was only sacked 8 times. So
yeah. Luckily it wasn't 9 or 10.
Thank goodness. Couldn't imagine what the game would have been like if that was the case. But yes, yeah, not a great showing, but still, if you're a Chargers fan, nice little win, especially going halfway across the country and taking care of business. In fact, is that the furthest at between NFL teams by chance, or would it be maybe Seattle to Miami is probably the furthest?
That would be it.
Have to be it. But yeah, LA to New Jersey is definitely up there into the mix. But yeah, not a great game for Jets fans, but a good one for the Chargers fans out there.
Yeah, Keenan Allen, whenever you can put his skills on display, and then Austin Eckler, that's the way that team should play through those two guys.
Oh, yeah, and their offense got a lot of pieces behind it, too. And speaking of offensive pieces, and speaking of a team in L.A., this just broke a little bit ago, according to Adam Schefter, that the Los Angeles Rams are signing quarterback Carson Wentz. The signing comes as the Rams head into their bye week with Matthew Stafford nursing that UCL sprain in his thumb. He was unable to play against the Packers, and so they decided to bring him in as he played for the Washington Commanders just last season.
He was happy to get that call.
Mm-hmm. He's like,
there have been a lot of quarterback injuries, so it's a wonder that they haven't looked at more of the free agents that are out there.
And speaking of other quarterbacks news in the NFL, not surprising, but rookie Will Levis will be the Tennessee Titans starting quarterback for the rest of the season, Mike Vrabel announced today. He started the past 2 games with Ryan Tannehill sidelined by that high ankle sprain, and he has thrown for 500 yards with 4 touchdowns and 1 interception in his 2 starts.
It's good to see the young quarterbacks getting an opportunity, and that's why some of those vets that are out there as free agents, they haven't been getting those calls because they are giving opportunities to the younger quarterbacks, and they're making the most of it.
So this is going to be part of my Trigger Tuesday, which I'll dive into a little bit more, but James Madison, which, by the way, shout out to James Madison. They got a victory in basketball last night over Michigan State up there in East Lansing, so nice little victory for them. But also the football side of things, they got a really good football program. And they have once again made another plea to the NCAA D1 Board of Directors to reduce its football program's FCS to FBS transition from 2 years to 1 because they're undefeated right now. People may not know that, but James Madison is undefeated right now, and they want to be eligible to compete in postseason in a bowl game this year because under the current rules, since it's only been 1 year, they can't. Not only that, but they couldn't even compete for the Sun Belt Championship if they went undefeated, which is wrong. It's so dumb. So hopefully they win that appeal. And the Sun Belt even came out and said that if the NCAA agrees to repeal it and say, hey, yeah, we'll make you eligible for a bowl game, the Sun Belt says, yep, and we'll definitely follow the rules and make you eligible for the championship game in the Sun Belt too.
Yeah, that only makes sense, but it's not likely that this will happen. But if it does happen, if you're just going to grant a waiver to James Madison, you have to just change the rule altogether and just make it a 1-year deal for any school that's looking to move up.
Which I hope that they do. I don't understand it. Like, what's the 2 years? Like, what do you got to do for 2 years? If you're undefeated.
It used to be longer. It used to be a 3 or 4 year deal.
I'm sure there's a reason why, but it doesn't make sense to me.
They want to give them a transition period just to be able to compete on a certain level.
Well, James Madison's proven that they can compete right now, for sure. So speaking of them beating Michigan State in overtime, Michigan State was the number 4 team in the country, and they won 79-76, but a lot of college basketball games yesterday. Not really anything major as far as upsets besides that one. In fact, all of the ranked teams won pretty convincingly over all their opponents, Arkansas being, of course, one of them. But you had Kansas take care of business against North Carolina Central. Duke beat Dartmouth. You had Purdue beat Samford. And had Marquette beat Northern Illinois. UConn, number 6 team in the country, they beat Northern Arizona. So really took care of business. I was talking about this with a friend last night, though. Didn't they used to do it with college basketball? Not only a 24-hour college basketball thing, but I felt like the first opening games had a lot more, like, maybe not a bunch of them, but just more than just, I mean, I felt like there's no ranked big games at all yesterday. Like, none of them were.
They used to do some neutral site type games like that, but within that second week, that's when a lot of that will start because of these early season tournaments.
I guess so, because tonight you at least have a couple more college basketball games of note. Creighton, number 8 team in the country, they'll be playing, but they're not ranked, but it could be interesting because Auburn and Baylor actually play each other tonight in basketball. That game's going to be on ESPN, and they're playing in South Dakota at the Sanford Pentagon. So you got Baylor and Auburn playing in South Dakota. So that'll be interesting to see. And we know Baylor's a great program, but Bruce Pearl's always got a pretty tough team. So maybe that'll be a big, nice little start to them for the season. But it was pretty great, though, to check out the college basketball games from yesterday, too. And also, it's another news, speaking of women's college basketball, how about LSU women? Number 1 team in the country, had all these transfers, had all these expectations. I know it's one game, but they got trounced by Colorado, who's number 20 in the country, a good team within themselves, but 92-78. Just
it's the prime effect. His daughter plays. But I don't know if she's actually playing this season, but she is a part of the team, and so she was a part of that celebration. But no, women's college basketball got off to a good start yesterday with Notre Dame and South Carolina playing in Paris, and some incredible plays made in that game on both sides.
Yeah, I mean, I know that it's definitely the women's game has grown tremendously even over the past year for sure.
Had Katie and Magic Johnson commenting about that, and where Magic said one of the best plays he's ever seen from any player, and he started going through a list: Steph, LeBron, whoever you can name. He's like, that's the best play he's ever seen.
Well, that is high praise then coming from Magic Johnson. So, but we'll talk more about basketball, Arkansas basketball. Curtis Wilkerson will be joining us next on hogsports.com. So stay with us on a Trigger Tuesday. You're on Out of Bounds.
Cold beers on tap, the largest Irish whiskey selection in town, weekday happy hour, as well as college, pro, and even World Cup football games, all on big screen TVs. Oh, and let's not forget the great food, great drinks, daily lunch specials, music on the weekends, and a private party room available with reservation. Well, of course, it's Dugan's Pub, your favorite Irish pub in Little Rock since 2010. Dugan's Pub, downtown 3rd and Rock Street. DugansPubLR.com.
Hey folks, Trey Johnson here with HJ Trailer Sales in Hot Springs. And I want to thank all our customers for making HJ Trailer Sales the #1 trailer and truck bed dealer in the state of Arkansas. With fall almost here and everyone heading to the woods, I want to let you know that we're here to keep your trailers on the road with a great repair shop. So come see us at HJ Trailer Sales, where we make you the priority and where you will also find that we keep our word. We're family owned and operated. Check us out at hjtrailersales.com or on Facebook.
103.7 The Buzz is your home for Arkansas Razorback football coverage each week and is brought to you by Expressway Airport Parking, Parker Cadillac, Arkansas Scholarship Lottery, Network Services Group, Edwards Food Giant, and AR Care. 103.7 The Buzz. The Hogs play here.
Get your popcorn ready. We've got the entertainment right here on 103.7 The Buzz. KABZ Little Rock. Buzz News with Channel 7's Ryan Houston.
41-year-old Arthur Joyner of Alexander is charged under a new state law that makes so-called death by delivery offenses a felony. The charges stem from the October 16th death of 41-year-old Douglas Johnson of Star City. He was found inside the Hampton Inn on South Poplar Street in Searcy. Investigators allege Joyner sold Johnson pills containing fentanyl. He's at the White County Jail on a $250,000 bond. Governor Sarah Sanders endorsed former President Donald Trump for president. Sanders will join the 2024 Republican frontrunner at his rally in Florida tomorrow as Trump skips the third GOP presidential primary debate. In a statement to CNN, Sanders said, quote, "It's not a question between right versus left anymore. It's normal versus crazy. And President Biden and the left are doubling down on crazy. The time has come to return to the normal policies of the Trump era." From the Channel 7 Newsroom, I'm Ryan Houston.
Every Tuesday morning during basketball season, you can hear Caleb Battle when he checks in with the guys on Morning Mayhem. It's made possible by Edwards Food Giant. Edwards Food Giant, the meat people. The only stop you'll have to make for all your family's grocery needs. Caleb Battle on your home for Arkansas Razorbacks basketball, 103.7 The Buzz.
Weather from the Fletcher Weather Center with Channel 7's Melinda Mayo.
More very warm air for November with highs back up in the low 80s today, mostly sunny and breezy. And tonight slowed down to 65. Another day around 83 tomorrow, then good rain chances Thursday. From the Channel 7 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Melinda Mayo.
Fletcher Dodge wants to buy your car. We'll buy any make or model, and we'll pay you more than anyone else. Please, turn your old car into cash at Fletcher Dodge in Sherwood.
Morning Mayhem on location in Sheridan Thursday with their good friend Steve Brown at Alcoa Community Federal Credit Union. Alcoa Community FCU are proud supporters of all things outdoors and want to remind hunters that falls tend to be the most common cause of injuries. Always check equipment, stands, and use safety belts to prevent falls.
Arkansas Brewskis is excited about their second location, and it's time to add to the team. Brewskis North is hiring servers, bartenders, cooks, and managers. To apply, drop by our downtown location and fill out an application. If you want to work in a fun, professional environment, this is for you. Brewski's North is hiring servers, bartenders, cooks, and managers. Apply in person at Brewski's downtown. For more info, check us out online at brewskispubandgrub.com. Brewski's, your home for lunch, happy hour, and late night.
Heartland Rehabilitation and Care Center in Benton proudly offers compassionate and loving care to our veterans, meeting the unique needs of every veteran who calls Heartland home. Visit heartlandrehabcenter.com. From sales, service, parts, and rental equipment, River Valley Tractor does it all and does it right. Your leading Kubota dealer is right around the corner with 5 locations throughout Central Arkansas. River Valley Tractor, serving Central Arkansas and Bryant, Sherwood, Conway, Russellville, and Pine Bluff. Work smarter this year, not harder, with River Valley Tractor. Online at rivervalleytractor.com. River Valley Tractor, closer than you think.
Hi, I'm Rick Pennington of Lions Drug. We have great news. Generic Cialis is now available at a huge savings. We have Tadalafil, the FDA-approved generic of Cialis, in a 20-milligram tablet at a savings of up to 80%. We have the 5-milligram daily tablets for less than $3 a pill. Lions Drug continues to be your go-to pharmacy for men's health. What are you waiting for? Call us today at 844-676-2247 or go to our website at lionsdrug.com.
An ESPN Radio Extra Point with Joe Fortenbaugh.
You are not, barring some sort of miracle here as we find ourselves on November 6th, you are not going to be winning the division if you are the Dallas Cowboys. What does that mean? Well, it means your best case scenario for the trip to the Super Bowl is a wild card berth in which you're looking at 3 road playoff games. You do not win big road games. It goes all the way back throughout Mike McCarthy's history. Last year in San Francisco, you played them tight. You played them tight in the postseason, but you lost that game, all right? You lost that game. And now this year, you've played exactly 2 games that are worth measuring up on. You went to San Francisco and you got blown out, and you went to Philadelphia, and when the Eagles weren't blowing you out, and the Eagles were doing every single thing they could at the end of the game to give it away, you couldn't take it.
In celebration of the 10th anniversary, Disney's Frozen is coming to podcasting with a brand new story. The Frozen podcast features Anna.
I want to know about that.
Elsa.
Makes perfect sense to me.
Olaf.
I don't get it.
And Kristoff.
Are we going on another adventure?
Oh, no. Of course. Experience Disney Frozen Forces of Nature, available now on your favorite podcast app.
Get big savings and big rewards now during Provember at Lowe's. Right now, save $80 on the DeWalt 20-volt 2-tool combo kit and earn 3 times the bonus points. Redeem those points for offers like NFL tickets to regular season games, a Super Bowl 58 experience for 2, and more rewards. Because Lowe's knows savings, Lowe's knows pros. While supplies last, selection varies by location. Bonus points calculated before taxes and fees after applicable discounts, if any. Valid through 11/22, subject to change.
Live from the Hoggs Meat Market Studios, this is Out of Bounds.
They're zoning defensively right now. Davenport in the key. Brazil with a one-hand dunk. He dunked that one over Jeremiah Gambrell. Gambrell 6'3", Brazil 6'10". That one was not fair. Blake with a rebound. Ahead to Arbogast. They couldn't get the shot away before the horn sounded. They tried to get it to the walk-on. That's it. Hawks take their season opener.
Yeah. With John Nabors.
Every time you put a mic in my face, I'm going to say Arkansas.
And Joe Franklin.
We won't go in the shell. We're going to go in attack mode because that's what's required.
On 103.7 The Buzz.
My left stroke just went viral. Right stroke put a baby in a spiral. Soprano C
1 hour down, 2 hours to go. Appreciate everybody listening in on this beautiful day here in the great state of Arkansas. John Nabors, Joe Franklin, broadcasting live from the Hoggs Meat Market Studios with you today. And thank you, as always, for making us a part of your afternoon this afternoon. It's been a great Trigger Tuesday thus far, and we'll get into that later in this hour. We'll talk about what's bothering us in the world of sports. We're also going to recap a little bit more of Razorback basketball against Alcorn State from last night with Curtis Wilkerson here in just a second. But first, let's go ahead and squeeze Ryan in Hot Springs in real quick before we do that. What's going on, Ryan?
Oh, not a whole lot. I actually got triggered a little bit yesterday from your good and bad from the weekend. You were talking about that Texas A&M player.
Oh, yeah.
Yesterday. So I want to preference this. I'm not one of the first people of violence. I don't condone it. And I agree the guy he should have been reprimanded for what he did. But at the same time, that Ole Miss player, what he did was absolutely disgusting. And it was absolutely – what I'm saying is as a man, there's certain things you can't let slide. And honestly, maybe the Texas A&M player doing what he did, maybe that Ole Miss player will think twice before he puts his junk in another man's face.
Hey, I don't disagree there, but it's like, you got to shove him or, if you shove the guy or you get in his face or something like that, but just kind of rearing back and, trying to do a straight uppercut to it is just, I feel like maybe lead up to that point, but just don't start there.
Well, I don't know, man. Whenever if a grown man puts his junk in my face, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not going to talk about it. I'm going to be about it.
Understandable. Well,
saying.
Yeah, no, I get you, Ryan. That's a warning to everybody out there. If you'd ever do that to Ryan, you're going to get it. That's what's going to happen to you.
But I hope y'all are having a great day. And, man, what a beautiful, 72 hours to be a Hawks fan. Great win on Saturday. Good, solid win last night. Sun shining real pretty today. Boy, and deer season's this weekend. Boy, good week. Hope y'all have a great day and go Hogs.
I appreciate it, Ryan. Thanks for calling in. Yeah, it is. It's kind of crazy warm out here, which is nice. I enjoy that. But I was looking at for the forecast this weekend in Fayetteville. I know a lot of you are going to be heading up there for the game. I will be up there as well. And it looks like, as of right now, the high in Fayetteville on Saturday is going to be 62 degrees, and there's not going to be a cloud in the sky. So it's going to be another beautiful fall day up there this weekend in Fayetteville for those of you making the trip. And it's even going to be really nice all week long. I mean, here in Little Rock even. Just 77 degrees today, 82 degrees tomorrow. That's just wild to me. So warm, but I'll take it. I like it. I like it that way. Have chances of rain later, but deer season is going to be this weekend, and I know a lot of people are going to be involved in that. And now that time of year, November's a busy one, especially getting it to where not only the end of football season for college, but also for the high school ranks. And, college basketball rears up, and holiday season is around too. But, as we've been talking a lot about it today, Arkansas basketball has a lot of people excited, and especially after seeing them only for a few times. We even had a caller call in earlier. It's just like, this might be the most mentally tough team since the Corliss Williamson teams back in the mid-'90s. So a lot of expectations going along with it. And, hey, you can't go undefeated the whole year unless you start 1-0. So let's talk more about it as we go to the phone lines and welcome in of hogsports.com. It's Curtis Wilkerson, who covers all things Razorback basketball specifically. But, Curtis, appreciate you joining us as always, man. How you doing this afternoon?
Hey, man, good to be on with you guys. I am doing well. Yeah, it was a fun game last night, a good way to start the season.
So, looking at it from last night, obviously Arkansas did what they needed to do against a team like that. They win big. Really wasn't ever in doubt. You got a lot of playing time from a lot of different players. But as far as just what were your expectations heading into that game and what ended up being the result, did everything go about according to plan for you, or were there a few surprises in what happened last night?
Yeah, I think there were probably a few things that were notable. They certainly did what we kind of expected them to do. Against a team like that, I think Alcorn State was clearly, overmatched. They also didn't have their best players, so you can only play the team that's in front of you on the schedule, and Arkansas blew them out. Exactly what they need to do on opening night. But, yeah, some notable things for sure. You kind of touched on it. All 15 guys played, a dozen guys scored. So I think it's really good early in the season to get as many guys involved, get their feet wet, get some experience, some minutes out there on the floor as much as you possibly can. So mission accomplished from that standpoint. Arkansas made a dozen threes. That's something they didn't do in a single game last season. In fact, that's almost more makes than they averaged attempts per game last season. So that's a positive sign. That I think it's worth pointing out that 10 of those came from guys not named Joseph Pinion or Jeremiah Davenport. So other guys getting involved there, which you love to see. I thought Brazil looked really explosive. Caleb Battle looked electric offensively. Tremont Mark, hit 4 of those 3-pointers. So, maybe he's kind of developing into being a sniper in addition to a great defender. And then Jalen Graham was the guy that really stood out to me. I think if you've got a position battle left on this roster right now, that center spot is what stands out to me. And, Mekhi Mitchell's the returning guy there. Chandler Lawson was obviously really good during the exhibition season. Graham comes back from those back spasms. I thought he looked really good. 8 points, led the team in rebounds with 8. I thought he was moving better than we've seen in the past, playing with some urgency, some physicality. He looked pretty good defensively. So definitely notable performance there in the front court from Graham.
What do you expect to see with the backcourt rotation? We know that Devo is the guy that's been there for the long run, and he returned, but you got some really good players that came in and playing in that backcourt.
Yeah, they're deep. I think because of that depth, that they're probably going to play some more 4-guard lineups than maybe we've seen the last couple of years. You're right about Devo. I mean, he kind of had just a vintage Devo stat line last night, just doing a little bit of everything, 5 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. Definitely, I think the part of that box score for him that stood out the most was 0 turnovers. And Eric Musselman mentioned that. That's an area that they've got to work on a little bit, which isn't surprising early in the season. But, if he's dishing out 5 assists, he's got the ball in his hands a lot, and he's not turning it over, they might use him as a lead guard maybe more than we expected. But, El Ellis is going to be in there. He didn't play that well last night, based on the standards that he kind of set for himself in the preseason. But he's a proven guy. He's going to be all right. We talked about Tremont Mark. I mean, his emergence as an offensive threat, I think he gives Arkansas a kind of a different dimension maybe than we expected with that starting backcourt, because we knew he was going to be so tenacious defensively. We knew he could use that 6'6" length and wingspan to get to the rim and finish, but he's knocking down threes at a high clip too. That's kind of the makings for an all-league player, if you ask me. And then Caleb Battle, man, you talk about J.D. Note vibes, like the 6th man coming off the bench and just provide serious pop. Boy, that's a good problem to have when you've got all those guys like that. That's without even mentioning, Joseph Pinion, Jeremiah Davenport, guys that can really stretch the floor and knock down threes. So, yeah, I think they've got a lot of depth in that backcourt, maybe not as much in the front court. So it does kind of lend itself to playing a little bit more small ball, and maybe they can get several more guys involved. It's interesting, he said it over and over in the press conference last night, like, hey, we're not going to play 13 guys. Like, this rotation is going to get cut down. People are playing their way into it, playing their way out of it on a kind of a nightly basis. So it's going to be really, really interesting to see kind of who makes that cut as they move forward, and then how deep into the bench he winds up going. He mentioned maybe 8, maybe 9 deep. That's a little bit further than we've seen him go in past years. But, looking at these guys right now, there's not a lot of separation. So we'll see what it kind of comes down to in the end.
And that kind of leads me into my next question, Curtis, is how long do you think Muss is going to deal with this? Is it just as long as it takes, or is it like maybe in these first 4 games before they go down there to some of those big matchups and the Bahamas as part of the battle for Atlantis? Like, do they want to have it settled in by then? I mean, just what do you see the process looking like for Muss and this team for rotations and whatnot?
Sure. I think it's something with him that's going to be fluid, really throughout the course of the season. But I'm kind of with you on the last part of that you said, is where I think they'd like to have a pretty good idea, of who their top guys are and who they want to roll with. Maybe that top 8, maybe 9 if you want to stretch it out once they get to Bahamas and it gets real there. Now, the good thing about that, though, if you're maybe the next guy or 2 in line, is, you're playing 3 games in 3 days. So they're probably going to have an eye on stretching that out just a little bit to keep them as fresh as possible if they want to go win that thing. But, I think these first 4 games, like you said, a really good opportunity, hopefully, knock on wood, if they come out focused and take care of business, right? But should be an opportunity to get a lot of guys to run, a lot more film, evaluation. And like you said, guys are going to play their way in or out of that rotation. Every year, it seems like with an Eric Musselman roster, we're at this stage of the season, and we're saying, man, how is he going to trim this thing down? They're so deep. They've got all these guys. When it's all said and done, this thing, it works itself out. It always does, and I'm sure it's going to do it this season. But man, I can't look at it here on November 7th and tell you exactly what I think it's going to look like because you got a ton of really nice options.
Kurt, we know that Coach Muss likes to pride teams on defense and getting turnovers, getting points in transition. That's a big part of what can make this team be really good. What's an ideal number as far as how much you want to turn the other team over and then limit the turnovers from your own team?
Yeah, in terms of forcing them, I think they've been, doing a pretty good clip of that so far. They forced 20 in both of their exhibitions, and I think 15 last night. So if you get to that number, 15 plus, that's creating a lot of extra opportunities for yourself. And I think that's something this Arkansas team could do. They were great at it early in the season last year, and it started to trail off once they started playing better competition. But I had the feeling this group is going to be a little bit more disruptive. I mean, when it starts with a tandem like Devo Davis and Tremont Mark, I mean, that's a heck of a start in terms of turning teams over and applying pressure in the backcourt. But I'm really anxious to see what kind of wrinkles he throws in defensively. Just last night, I mean, they were doing all kinds of things. After made free throws, we were seeing some 2-2-1 full court press. At times, they were going into a 1-2-1-1 where they had Trevin Brazil and using his length, on the inbounds man. They showed some of that half court shadow trap that they used to love to do with Justin Smith. So a lot of different things that they're showing in game one. And we talked about this being a veteran, experienced group, a lot of maturity. They've been coachable. So maybe he can get a little bit more creative. And if he's doing that, just on top of the raw talent and athleticism that they have, you would think this would be a team that could really turn opponents over. And then the other part of that, you're right. I mean, they need to cut down on the turnovers. They were pretty solid with it. In the early portions of the preseason, had some bumps, along the way against Purdue. And in 15 the other night, it's interesting because I think they're moving the ball really well. I think they're running their stuff at a pretty efficient clip. They had 20 assists. That's a great number. 15 turnovers is too many. So you want to get that down closer to that 10 range. And, if you're 2-1 over the course of the game, you're in a pretty good spot. And I think, as we get a little bit further along, these guys develop more continuity, more chemistry, and those rotations become more defined. Those turnovers should, in theory, work their way back down. But, yeah, I think they could cut about 5 or so off of that number from last night. They'd be in a pretty good spot. Speaking
with Curtis Wilkerson of hogsports.com here on Out of Bounds. And, Curtis, something last night, which I know we joked about it even before the season started, of ejections for players and coaches and combined is putting it at 2.5, the over-under. And if you took the over on that one, you had one last night with Trevin Brazil leading the bench, but also you had Muss getting a technical when he's up 30. People, I think it's just funny because I kind of know at least where it's coming from. But what'd you make of Muss not only getting the technical when he's up 30, but also the ejection that ended up having for Trevin Brazil leaving the bench?
Well, I love it with Muss. I thought it was funny, too. And that's the thing about him. Like, it doesn't matter if it is, a 30-point game on a Monday night against Alcorn State or, a heated neutral site game against Oklahoma or being over in, Italy playing in an exhibition in the foreign tour. He's such a competitor, man, and he's dialed in the entire 40 minutes. And he's, he wears his emotions on his sleeve out there. So that didn't necessarily surprise me. He holds himself accountable and to a high standard, the same thing with his players, and very clearly the same thing with the officials. So they got to be ready for that too. But no, I wasn't bothered by that. The Trevin Brazil ejection, look, if you're going to get ejected for something, I guess that's probably the way to do it, right? Where you're taking up for a teammate who just took kind of maybe a dirty hit there. But at the same time, you can't do that in a game that really matters. This could have been a closer contest where they needed Trevin Brazil on the floor, and you wouldn't have been able to have him down the stretch of the game. I know in the moment when you see one of your guys, one of your brothers, gets taken out there and there's kind of a swarm, it's just a natural instinct. You try to go out there and help them. But this is not a new rule. You cannot leave the bench. It's an automatic ejection if you do. He knew that. He made a bad decision there, and it cost him. Luckily, it didn't cost the team, and it's an opportunity for them to go back and maybe kind of set some reminders in terms of what you can and can't do in situations like that. So no big deal. I think they'll be better for it moving forward, but certainly one I think he probably wishes he could have back.
This time of the year, there's some extended time in between games We're talking about at the beginning of the week, Monday, and then another game on Friday. And it gives an opportunity to still kind of work out some of the things that you're trying to work out. Do you like that beginning of the season where these games are spaced out a bit and before you really get into some better competition and then the games are closer together?
Yeah, I do, especially I think after that first game. I should go back a little bit further, honestly. I think they did a good job in the preseason with spacing out their exhibitions a week apart and then giving themselves a week between that Purdue game and getting ready for the regular season. It gives you a lot of time to kind of evaluate and clean some things up. And I do like doing that between your first and second game for the very same reasons. Even if it's, there's a difference in playing Alcorn State and Purdue, of course, but there's also a difference in playing in a game that counts versus one that doesn't at the end of the day. So there's always lessons to be learned and things to improve on. And so I think it's good for them to have several days here before this Gardner-Webb game. But I kind of like what they're doing after that. They play on Friday night, then they turn around and play Monday evening against Old Dominion. So a quick turnaround that kind of mimics, what you're going to see in SEC play, where you might be going Wednesday and then playing on Saturday, or you might play on Saturday and then turn around and play on Tuesday. So there's a lot of strategic stuff involved there in terms of when they want to play these games, how they want to have it laid out, who they're playing, and when they're doing it. And so I think from just a layout standpoint, they've done a really nice job in terms of setting it up and exposing themselves to everything they need to before they get into the meat of the schedule.
Curtis, also something I wanted to ask you about was just injuries, because I think Muss talked about it last night where, of course, Graham coming back from his back injury, but then even mentioned, I guess, was it Ellis that was dealing with an injury. They had to have an MRI on him, and they didn't know if 2 days ago he's even going to be ready to play. But then Muss says it's the healthiest the team has been since it's been together. So what's kind of that timeline been like as far as getting guys healthy and also to this point to where suddenly now they're the healthiest that they've been all year long?
Man, it's been nuts. I wrote a story about that earlier today, and I think, Matt Townsend, the athletic trainer, he probably deserves a pretty good Christmas bonus at this point for keeping those guys kind of pieced together the way he has. They had a lot of injuries throughout the offseason and the preseason. Obviously, Brazil coming back from that ACL. They had foot issues with guys like Mekhi Mitchell and Caleb Battle, throughout the course of the summer. We mentioned Jalen Graham's back spasms. Tremont Mark had a hamstring. It's just one thing. Joseph Pinion had a wrist. But it's one thing after another that was either keeping guys out of practice at different times or just limiting them in terms of what they were able to do while they were out there. And that's tough, man, when you're putting together a roster and a new team and trying to get ready for a season when you don't have everybody available. And then obviously, the Ellis thing, a knee injury, hey, these are high-level athletes, so things happen in practice, and so it sounds like luckily they dodged a bullet there. Anytime you have to get an MRI on something, that's a cause for concern. So glad that came back well. But, I think it kind of impresses me a little bit more that this team has been able to go through all that stuff early on in the season and shown some resiliency. I mean, they had a really successful preseason. They looked good in the exhibition, didn't miss a beat in the opener, and now they're at full strength, and knock on wood, you would hope that they stay there. But I think it's made them better for it because it's given other guys opportunities to get some minutes, get familiar with their other teammates. And I think that's part of the reason why we're talking about their depth right now, because we've been able to see it. It's kind of forced it on us. So there's always a silver lining in everything. You want these guys to stay healthy, but, hey, it's provided some other opportunities, and I think they're better for it.
What would you like to see this team do more of going into the game against Gardner-Webb?
I think, more of, I think they put an emphasis on rebounding. I thought they took a step forward with that against Alcorn State. They had 14 offensive rebounds. They rebounded over 50% of their misses. I think that's something this team could have been better at in previous years, and I think they've got the athletes to do it this year. So, kind of keeping the foot on the gas in terms of being aggressive on the backboards, I would like to see. The turnovers, we talked about it, cutting it down a little bit, I think would be beneficial for those guys. But, yeah, I think, just guys kind of settling into their roles a little bit more. Again, getting those rotations defined. I'm really, really interested to go out there and see what they do at this center spot. It's fascinating to me because you got three guys who are all capable of this. Somebody going to be able to take the bull by the horns and control that position or emerge as a front runner, or is going to be kind of a revolving door where they're trying to figure things out because, you're only as strong as your weakest link. So that's probably the area that they really need to kind of shore up between now and a couple weeks from now when they're in the Bahamas.
Well, Curtis, as always, man, we appreciate you joining us. It's great to talk some basketball, and I know this weekend's going to be a big one up on the Hill for basketball and football, so we look forward to seeing you up there in Fayetteville this weekend, man.
Yeah, awesome. Can't wait. Safe travels up there.
All right, appreciate it. Again, that's Curtis Wilkerson of hogsports.com joining us. Great stuff on hogsports.com. You need to check it out for all the basketball coverage, as Curtis does an awesome job with them. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll get to our Trigger Tuesday here on Out of Bounds, so stay with us.
Join Kevin McPherson, Arkansas's premier basketball recruiting analyst, each Friday on Drive Time Sports. Brought to you by Fence Brokers. Fence Brokers, going the extra mile.
Attention deer hunters, Hoggs Meat Market in North Little Rock is the place to get your deer processed right. And Wednesday, you can find Morning Mayhem broadcasting live from Hoggs. It's Hoggs Meat Market on JFK in North Little Rock's historic Park Hill District.
This is Sports Center.
Arkansas basketball took care of business in their first game, beating Alcorn State. Caleb Battle led the way for the Hogs, scoring 21 points in just 19 minutes on 5 of 9 from the field and 3 for 6 from 3. The Razorbacks shot 40% from 3 for the game. Here was Muss talking about win number 1.
We played a really, really good first half. In the second half, we probably could have played a little bit better defense. We let Alcorn get to the rim a little bit too much, and then we fouled. Their 26 free throws attempted is too many. But we did play 13 guys in the first half. It gave us a barometer to kind of get a feel for what guys can do and areas that we have to improve individually and as a team.
Arkansas gets back to action on Friday as they host Gardner-Webb. Tip for that game is set for 7 o'clock. I'm Christian Weaver with the Buzz Radio Network.
Did you know Arch Marine is the kayak leader in Central Arkansas? Right now, get 20% off all feel-free kayaks. All the prices are falling on kayaks this month. Don't forget, we repair ATVs. Your granddaddy trusted Arch Marine, and so can you.
Pickup truck, sports car, motorcycle, minivan, townhouse, two-story, farmhouse, fixer-upper. What you drive and where you live is different for everyone, so it's important to have insurance that fits your needs and is just right for you. At Shelter Insurance, we understand that, which is why our agents help you design a comprehensive auto, home, and life insurance plan. Insurance that fits just right.
See Shelter Agent Drew Self in Hot Springs or Todd Matthews in Benton for a free insurance review.
Thanksgiving is almost here, which means it's time to start thinking about your holiday plans. This year, save time along with the worry and hassle and let the team at Edwards Food Giant do it for you. Their turkey dinner includes the turkey as well as their signature cornbread dressing, giblet gravy, cranberry sauce, and dinner rolls. All fully cooked, homemade, and ready for you to heat and serve to your family. If that's not enough, their deluxe turkey dinner also includes sweet potato casserole, green beans, and apple pie. Now that's what I call a Thanksgiving spread. Click on edwardsfoodgiant.com to view their full menus and find out how to order your dinner.
Companies are shifting their telephone systems to the cloud, and you should too. ESI eCloud PBX has everything you need. Features like work from anywhere, video calls, and advanced security tools make ESI eCloud PBX one of the best choices for any business. Opt out of the high cost of your traditional phone system and move to the cloud. Sign up for an online demo at nsgdb.com and get your system activated at no charge.
Network Services Group. One call does it all.
Our care clinics are your hometown source for primary medical care. Our doctors, nurses, and counselors can help patients of all ages with anything from common colds and immunizations to depression, anxiety, and chronic diseases. Our network includes both mail order and local pharmacies to fulfill your prescriptions. If you don't have insurance, it's okay. We can help with that too. And no one is turned away. With more than 65 locations in Arkansas, there's a good chance we're in your hometown. Look us up at ourcare.net.
If you're looking for the best deal on a pre-owned vehicle, you'll find it here in Hot Springs on Central Avenue at Motorsports Authority, here with Wild Bill and Magic Mark. These are some fantastic deals, guys.
Hey, Magic Mark, tell us about some of these special rigs you got sitting here.
We've got cars for every taste. Cars, trucks, SUVs. This is the best selection of inventory we've had in the past 2 years. More for your trade? Yes. Payments for every budget?
Yes.
Online at MSAstore.com. We'll see you at Motorsports Authority.
What are you waiting for?
Tap Time with Bryce Knoll and Scott Parton, presented by New Province Brewing, returns this Thursday at 7. Tap Time is Little Rock's premier radio show for beer lovers by beer lovers. Tap Time, Thursday from 7 to 8 on 103.7 The Buzz, live from the Edwards Food Giant Studios.
Make your tailgate the party of the parking lot by getting the best meats in all of Arkansas at Hoggs Meat Market, the steak people. You're listening to Out of Bounds with John Nabors and Joe Franklin.
I got to ask, because I've always wondered, why did that happen in Fayetteville, Arkansas? What took you there? It's just so weird. It's
visiting friends, but yeah, Dixon Street.
Dixon Street?
Yeah, Dixon Street was, it'll get you.
On 103.7 The Buzz.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's favorite sports betting app. Bet Saracen is as close to your cell phone. Just go to the App Store and download the Bet Saracen app, or go to betsaracen.com. Arkansas hosting Auburn. Arkansas is a 2.5-point favorite. The over-under is 48.5. Saracen also has a boost for that game with Arkansas by 2.5 and the over 48.5. And if those two hit, you take that wager. It's plus 260 on Bet Saracen. So that would be one to look into. There are NBA lines. There's college football, NFL. There's a Thursday night game coming up, Panthers and the Bears. There's also combat sports, boxing, MMA, any and everything you want. It's on the Bet Saracen app. There's in-game bets, prop bets. Double R specials will be posted soon, but Double R props. For the most accurate and up-to-date sports wagering info, you need to be on the Bet Saracen app. It's simple. Just go to the App Store and download the Bet Saracen app, or go to betsaracen.com. Be sure to check out the video of how to play featuring Jancy Sheets.
It is a Trigger Tuesday here on Out of Bounds, and that's what we're about to get into and talk about what's bothering us in the world of sports. If you want in, let us know about it. Call or text in at 501-661-1037 and let us know what's been bothering you. It could be today or this week or just overall in general when it comes to the sports world. But let's go ahead and jump into our Trigger Tuesday segment.
I'm angry. I'm spitting angry. I'm like a tornado of anger, swirling about. My heart rate is dangerously high right now.
Triggered Tuesday, where you let everyone know what's offended you in the world of sports on Out of Bounds.
All right, it is time for Trigger Tuesday, and I alluded to mine a little bit in the first hour, but I'm going to dive into it a little bit more, and it has to deal with, of course, the NCAA. That could be everyone's trigger pretty much every single day, it would seem like. But this thing with James Madison and the rules that they have in place, that if you make the transition from FCS to FBS, there has to be a 2-year period before teams are eligible for postseason. Back on April 27th, earlier this year, James Madison tried to put an appeal together to allow them that this season, this upcoming year, or this year that we're in now, to be able to play in postseason. And the NCAA denied it. And they were the first school to appeal the 2-year period, mainly due to the fact that they knew that they were going to be successful and have a great season. So the NCAA received the waiver, and it will be considered by the appropriate membership committee people in a timely manner. That's what the NCAA said to the latest appeal that James Madison is going through. They must be submitted to several NCAA groups before the Board of Governors can decide, including the Strategic Vision and Planning Committee, the FBS Oversight Committee, the Council Coordination Committee, and the Division I Board of AD Committee, which is a subgroup of the Division I Board of Directors. Okay, so here's the thing. I get that there are rules, and rules must be followed, and there's reasons for rules and whatnot. But I start to think about the complexity of how many people you have to go through, and you have to have the requests submitted to all these different groups of the NCAA, and they have to review it, and then they have to acknowledge it, and they have to accept it, and then it could be sent up to the board of directors. And I'm just sitting back, I'm like, we're talking about if a team goes with 6 wins or 7 wins or whatever, if they're eligible for bowl eligibility, postseason eligibility, just like everybody else, I don't understand why it's got to be such a complicated thing to go through all the different groups. It should be something that it's then of like, okay, so let's review why they want to do it. Will they be able to do it? And what's the problem with them doing it? Like, what's the harm in them being bowl eligible and going to a bowl game? Is it hurting us? Is it hurting the school? Is it hurting other teams around them? go through that process just as a one group, and then once you decide, which you should decide, that it's not impacting anybody negatively. In fact, it's only going to impact negatively if you don't allow a team with players on scholarship who have fought hard all year long and had a great year and a great record to not play in a bowl game. That's what's going to be ending up harming the most. I hope the NCAA allows James Madison to play, although I have my doubts in him. But I just feel like, as so many things in the NCAA and rules and all of that, they make it so overcomplicated, so over the top. Stop making with all these little subgroups and whatnot. Just do what's right. That's what everything just needs to always come down to. It's the same thing with NIL. It's the same thing with transfers. It was the same thing with everything that should be done in the NCAA. Just do what's right. And this, to me, is a pretty black and white, clear case. Do what's right. Let James Madison be eligible for postseason. Let him play in a bowl game. Let him collect that money, and let those players have a reward for their really great season. And that is what's been triggering me today.
What triggers me is the Aaron Rodgers talk week to week. It happens after a win. It happens after a loss. It's like, okay, if they win, then, the talk increases where it's like, this team is winning. They are on a projection to possibly go to the playoffs, and then Aaron Rodgers comes back. Okay, that's one thing. But then after a loss, it's like, okay, can he now come back and save the season? And it just gets old going week to week. And now it's to the point that they're reporting on every little thing that happens with Aaron Rodgers. Last night during Monday Night Countdown, they were joking about it, but they said that Adam Schefter just broke probably the biggest news there was, in that Aaron Rodgers is now taking 3-step drops. And then there was another part where he's on with Pat McAfee today, and they're talking about the fact that he threw a 58-yard pass during pregame last night. It's just like, let's let this thing play out. Let's let it happen. If it's going to happen, if he's going to get back on the field, it doesn't have to be a week-to-week deal where every little thing that he does is being reported on, and then everything that happens with the team, it's tied into whether it's they win a game in a certain way, they lose a game in a certain way. It's all about Aaron Rodgers and him making the return.
Speaking of that, and I'm glad you brought that up. I was trying to look back and see if I could find the video, but when somebody that he was talking to, it was when he was talking to one of the Chargers players, and the Chargers players asked him kind of like a candid camera type thing. It wasn't like an official on the broadcast, but so last night, guy asked Aaron Rodgers, "When you coming back, man?" And Aaron Rodgers' response was, "Give me a few weeks." And so everybody just ran with that. It's like, well, it's a few weeks. I mean, that could be 3 weeks. So will he be back for this game? It's that's where I've ignored it. I don't care, because saying all those things and trying to speculate and all that, it's just I just don't understand it. And yeah, but the drop, like, that's when I really was over it. When I started seeing people, it's like, how many dropbacks was he taking? And then I saw somebody post a video of him throwing passes, a week ago before the game, and then this week, and seeing like the differences and seeing like, oh man, see how much further he stepped back on this drop back than this one. It's like, just as you said, let it play out. It'll be fine.
Now, to his credit, he did downplay the 58-yard pass when he's talking to Pat McAfee about it. He downplayed it and made it seem like, it wasn't a big deal. But still, it's the part that's being discussed, and him being asked about certain things every week, and then them just tying it into the team every week.
Well, it's like someone's from our Southern Structural Solutions text line from the 559 area code says, when they say Rodgers can do a 50-yard sprint and scramble with no pain, I guess that will be when it's newsworthy. It's
right.
Like, that's how I look at it, too. It's like, don't tell me about, his steps are getting further apart this week. It's like, no, let us know when it's actually going to be full-fledged. Here it is. He's ready to go, because that's the only thing that's going to matter in the end.
He's wearing the platform shoes, too, and, is he going to come back and play in platform cleats?
That would be funny if he did. And the amount of discussions that would be, because if he didn't have a good game coming back, it's like, is it the platform cleats? That's what's going to be. It's always going to be questions like that. And another thing too that I wanted to talk about with triggering me was, I'm enjoying, of course, the whole Michigan scandal of the sign stealing, whatnot, and the Connor Stallions thing, because I find it entertaining, and I find it entertaining to see some of the developments and everything. But I feel like now, when it was being reported that the Big Ten is mulling a punishment for Jim Harbaugh, it's like, man, that comes across so much as just you caving to the pressure of what those other coaches and everybody's wanting. Because I've always felt like if there's an investigation going on, when the due process is going through, then let the due process play out and then give a punishment that way. But I just don't feel it would be right that the investigation's going on and you don't have physical, like full-fledged evidence that Jim Harbaugh was in on it and knew all about it and everything, and the NCAA isn't doing anything about it, but you as a conference step in and do something about it. And again, it just gives the vibe that it's coming off of just from the pressure of the other teams.
No, it's definitely that.
Yeah, but I hate that. Like, what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. If you believe in the due process, then let it play out. But if you don't, then you should have done something from the get-go. But don't just sit back. And I get it. The Big Ten commissioner, it's like he's brand new. It's his first go-around, and he's trying to make everybody happy. But when it comes to stuff like this, especially as serious as it is, where it could change the entire season, change the program, change for jobs, people could get terminated, like a lot of stuff could go in here, then just wait for it to play out, wait for the investigation to conclude, because there's nothing worse that you ever want to look back upon and end up suspending or doing something like that to Jim Harbaugh, and then the evidence comes out that he wasn't even involved, and you got egg on your face.
Well, here's the part that's puzzling. They said they're going to punish the coach and not the team. Now, if you take him away for a few games, that is punishing the team.
Yes.
So does that give off vibes that they're just going to be some kind of big fine, and then he's already served a punishment for something separate as far as a suspension already? But when they say that part, that it's going to be towards the coach and not the team, that almost says that there's not going to be a suspension.
Yeah, I see, that's the thing. It's like, if it's a fine, that's better, I guess. I'd rather have a fine from Jim Harbaugh. But like you said, you're punishing the team no matter what if you're taking him away from the team. And they've already done that. So I don't know what the right answer is as far as his punishment or for what he ends up doing or not doing. I don't know. But I just think it's a little premature to punish him, especially, or I'm going to give them a shout-out to it, because I would be the same way, because I'm just about my team and everything. But if that Michigan team is undefeated and looking really strong and really good and has a chance to win a national championship, which they do,
next year.
They're going to punish them next year. That's what they need to.
That's going to be the answer.
Yeah. You're not suspended for 5 games. You're suspended for 5 games next year. So you better come back. You better not go to the NFL, Jim Harbaugh.
Right, yeah. Good luck with that.
Yeah. But because if you do, we're going to be very upset. You're not allowed back. Okay. Yeah, good luck with that. So that's what's Trigger Tuesday here on Out of Bounds. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll have your Razor Hog update. Get to hear from Sam Pittman, and he meets with the media yesterday, as well as Coach Eric Musselman, and get some more of your phone calls and text messages here on a Trigger Tuesday on Out of Bounds. So stay with us.
Hi, neighbor. It's Garen with Shamrock Roofing. Have you been denied a new roof by your insurance company after storm damage? You won't be denied at Shamrock Roofing. Give us a call or visit us at shamrockroofer.com. Right now, we're offering a free impact-resistant roof upgrade. Plus, if you've been denied coverage by your insurance company after the storms, you automatically qualify to win a new roof for free. Just visit shamrockroofer.com for details. Shamrock Roofing, where one call does it all, at shamrockroofer.com.
ZZ Top, Leonard Skinner. 2 American institutions unite. The Sharp-Dressed Simple Man Tour. April 18th, Simmons Bank Arena. With Blackstone Cherry. On sale now at Ticketmaster.com. ZZ Top and Leonard Skinner live.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine. It can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just 1 dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
Here's another remarkable success story from QC Kinetics. This one from Chad, who hurt his knee at the gym one day, and it just kept on hurting for months.
From my high school football and wrestling days, I already had a little bit of damage in there, but this just sent it over the edge.
Chad tried traditional treatments with no improvement when he turned to the non-surgical regenerative treatments at QC Kinetics.
It was really fascinating how they did their work, and the science behind it was very intriguing, and it works. Extracting the cure out of my own body blew my mind. It's like I'm brand new again. It was fantastic.
That's because the QC Kinetics natural biologic treatments use your body's own healing power to restore damaged tissue in your hips, shoulders, back, and knees, providing long-lasting relief.
Now I'm back at the gym. I'm 100%, feeling great.
If you're tired of suffering with pain from arthritis or injury, call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 501-222-8440. That's 501-222-8440. 501-222-8440.
Injured? There's only one number you need to know. Dial 888-8888.
At Rainwater Holton Sexton, no case is too big and no insurance company too strong. Just dial 888-8888.
We are battle-tested, big case injury lawyers who've recovered millions for our clients. Just dial 888-8888.
Been in a wreck? Anywhere in the state. Just dial 888-8888.
Responsible attorneys Michael Rainwater and Bob Sexton.
Right this way. Welcome to the $1 Million VIP Club, an all-new VIP scratch-off ticket from the Arkansas Scholarship Lottery. It's for very important players and is hiding some very impressive prizes, like a top prize of $1 million and more than $42 million in total prizes. Be a VIP today. Ask for the new $1 Million VIP Club Scratcher. You could play, scratch, and win $1 million. Call 1-800-522-4700 for Problem Gambling Helpline.
Have a watch party that everyone wants to attend at your house with the best of meats in the business. Hoggs Meat Market, the steak people. You're listening to Out of Bounds with John Nabors and Joe Franklin.
Dean's going to throw, and it's intercepted at the 15. Spence has picked it off, and he's going to go the distance. 50, 40, 30, 20. Brad Spence to the house. An interception return for a score, 85 yards in his first game as a Razorback. How about that?
On 103.7 The Buzz.
Give me a man after midnight. Won't somebody help me chase the shadows away? Give me a man after midnight. Take me through the darkness to the break of the day. Give me a man after midnight. Won't somebody help me chase the shadows away? Give me a man after midnight. Take me through the darkness to the break of the day.
It's Trigger Tuesday here on Out of Bounds, and I know nothing is going to be triggering you if you're a hunter because deer season is upon us. And with Max Prairie Winks in Stuttgart, they need to be the place you go for all of your hunting needs because they have not only some great tree stands on sale, a bunch of them actually, but if you're not feeling the whole tree stand thing, how about using a ground blind instead? With Max Prairie Wings in Stuttgart, they got that ground blind solution with the all-new Rhino 180. See-through blind that takes ground blind hunting to a whole new level. It's also got a unique two-way mesh system that prevents the wild game from seeing in, while allowing you, the hunter, of course, to see out with crystal clear vision and no obstructions. Rhino 180 see-through blind start just $125, and the ever-so-popular Ameristep Brickhouse blind is just $99. It's also nice to know what's going on in your deer stand, right? So start seeing the action as it's happening when you're not in the woods with the Tacticam Reveal X Pro Trail Camera. It's texting real-time photos right to your cell phone, and the Tacticam Reveal X Pro Trail Camera is just $149.99 at Max Prairie Wings. And these specials are available on store and online. So you can get them both there in Stuttgart if you go to Max Prairie Wings, or if you can shop online at maxpw.com. That's MACKSPW.com. It's Max Prairie Wings, your one-stop shop for all your hunting needs. Happy hunting. We're going to get to your Razor Hog updates presented by True Service here in just a second. We'll have some fun times with that and hearing from us and Sam Pittman, and also Josh Braun, Razorback offensive lineman, will join us on the other side of the break, and thanks to Matt Black, Allstate Insurance. Before we do that, let's get J.K. in Fairfield Bay on. What's up, J.K.?
Hey, guys, I think it's interesting that Harbaugh is just taking a beating about this, and it's all about in his conference. As far as me and the SEC football, I could care less what's going on because that's been going on for so long, guys. And I think those coaches in that conference are so pissed they can't beat that guy that they're coming up with these. I can't understand it. Hell, it's been going on in NFL. It goes on all the time. I'll hang up and listen, even in baseball.
Yeah, appreciate it, JK. Thanks for calling in. I mean, yeah, I think everybody knows that there's an extent that it's going on, and I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but when you go to the kind of the extent of what Michigan has been accused of, where you got a guy that's employed by your university going to other games and being on the sidelines for other games, and
yeah, that's crossing the line when
that's
it goes
a little
that
much.
far.
Yeah, it's a little much, and I think that's where people are coming out. And of course, I'll also be honest. Like if I'm a Big Ten coach, you're dadgum right. I'm raising heck about it because I see a moment to pounce on a guy and to pounce on a team that's really good, and I want to have some sort of competitive advantage. So I'll be like, yeah. Even though I've probably done a little bit too, like you guys, this is unacceptable. You need to have some punishment for this team. They can't be doing this.
And that's the part that's interesting that everybody is trying to pile on now. Like if you had these thoughts before, why didn't you bring it out before to say, hey, I think they're stealing our signs and go public with it then? But now that it is public, everybody's like, oh, yeah, they were stealing our signs, and we knew about it. Well, if you knew about it, why didn't you say something before?
Yeah, it's a pile-on is all it is. It's a pile-on for everybody. When it comes out, they see the moment to strike, and that's what they do. It happens all the time, especially in the social media era where there's so many things that happen, whether it's sports or whether it's culture or Hollywood or whatever. You'll have stories come out where it happens, and then suddenly a lot of people start speaking out about it and said, yeah, man, this has been going on. This has been unacceptable. It's like, well, where were you? Like, why'd you have to wait for the story to come out before you start making comments about it? But that's, kind of, sometimes it has ulterior motives, but sometimes it's just they see it as a time to speak out against it and say there's no place for that in our league. But we definitely will make sure that you don't investigate us and what we got going on because we do it a lot better. We do it with more subtlety if that's the case. But yeah, I don't know what's going to be the end result, but it's still kind of a funny story to cover, no doubt. All right, so a few things going on in Razorback land, so let's talk about that in your Razor Hog Update presented by True Service.
Just one thing I want to say to you. Touchdown, Arkansas!
Arkansas wins the national championship! The Arkansas Razorbacks have completed the dream season!
Hogs by 90!
This is your Razor Hog Update on Out of Bounds, presented by True Service Community Federal Credit Union, where they offer new mortgage loans, refinancing, auto loans, and small business loans. Online at trueservice.net.
All right, so for your Razor Hog Update, yesterday Sam Pittman met with the media. We talked a little bit about some of the comments, but here's what he had to say about Auburn and their quarterback Thorne, who has had his struggles but has been playing better as of late.
I think he's a really competitive guy and tough, and he's fast. And so what I talked to the guys about last night, we always kind of meet at the very end after we kind of get a thoughts on them, that I don't think there's a reason to have two separate defenses for two separate quarterbacks. I mean, because Thorne and really, Trey, it's exactly what you said. He is much more athletic than I thought he would be and can run. So they're going to run their total RPO offense with him, and I'm sure that's why they got him to begin with. He's throwing the ball well. He's a good quarterback, obviously got a lot of experience, coming in for him. But the thing I could say most about him is he's really, really competitive. And you can just kind of feel it through the film, to be honest with you.
Eric Musselman in Razorback basketball. Game 1 victory over Alcorn State last night. And here's what Eric Musselman had to assess about the victory.
We played a really, really good first half. In the second half, we probably could have played a little bit better defense. We let Alcorn get to the rim a little bit too much, and then we fouled. Their 26 free throws attempted is too many. But we did play 13 guys in the first half. We wanted to give guys an opportunity in meaningful minutes, meaning the first half. And it gave us a barometer to kind of get a feel for what guys can do and areas that we have to improve individually and as a team.
A lot of players played for Arkansas last night, and that was kind of the intention of what Muss had.
Yeah, especially in the first half. I mean, we really, really wanted to try to get everybody involved because, at some point the rotation's going to have to get trimmed down a little bit. So we've now got the 2 exhibition games in this game where we've been able to look at most people. We didn't against Purdue, just as Purdue didn't really sub that much either. So, again, some areas we really, really got to clean up, which we will.
And finally, Caliph Battle had this to say about how there's also not only plenty to work on, but actually he won't take credit for the win after scoring so many points.
A little bit. I mean, I can't take the credit. I got to give all the credit to my coaches, my teammates. My teammates for finding me, my coaches for keeping me prepared. And, we got a dub, so that's the most important thing.
Guy that wants to give all the credit to the team themselves after a team win is what you want to hear. And Arkansas will be facing off against Gardner-Webb this Friday night. And you'll be able to listen to it right here on 103.7 The Buzz. And it'll be in Fayetteville. And then they'll have Arkansas football against Auburn on Saturday. Should be a great weekend on the Hill. And that's your Razor Hog Update presented by True Service. When we come back, we'll get to hear from Razorback offensive lineman Josh Braun. Big win for the Razorbacks against Florida, but especially special for him as it was his former team that he went up against and also doing it in front of a lot of his family members. We'll talk to him coming up next here on Out of Bounds, so stay with us.
At Eat My Catfish, fall is our favorite time of the year, and football season isn't the only thing making a comeback. Available now, our famous shrimp gumbo and Cajun boudin balls make their return to the menu. Order online at eatmycatfish.com. Eat local, eat fresh, Eat My Catfish.
On your way to the Little Rock Airport this morning? While you're away, we're pampering your car. We can fix or replace your windshield, even help file the insurance claim. Imagine returning home to a car that has been washed and detailed, plus had an oil change, brake inspection, even a tire rotation. And if you return to a dead battery or a flat tire, we're there to get you back on the road. Fast, secure parking for less than municipal airport parking. Expressway airport parking, left of the airport entrance.
Of course, you have many options when it comes to great dining options downtown. But there's only one, Dizzy's Gypsy Bistro. Still offering a wide selection of all your favorite special craft cocktails, including beer and wine. And a menu featuring gourmet salads and delicious pastas. And Dizzy's is also the multiple-time winner of the World Cheese Dip Competition. With a dog-friendly patio, a funky eclectic atmosphere, and room for large parties with reservations, Dizzy's will have you coming back again and again. Since 1995, Dizzy's Gypsy Bistro, Dizzy'sLR.com.
The great American pastime. Do you smell that? That's the smell of men being men. I think I'm ready. On 103.7 The Buzz, KABZ Little Rock.
Buzz News with Channel 7's Cassandra Webb.
So if you get an unusual phone call from someone claiming to be with the Mayflower Police Department, you could be talking to a scammer. Some people have been getting phone calls from the Mayflower PD's phone number in which they're asked to provide payments over the phone for some type of legal document or to post bail for someone they know. This is a scam. Mayflower Police say they will never ask for any kind of payment over the phone. So if this happens to you, hang up and report it to the Mayflower Police. And happening tonight, North Little Rock is celebrating the beginning of the holiday season with its tree lighting ceremony. It's at 6 tonight in Argenta Plaza. Mayor Terry Hartwick, along with several North Little Rock children, will light the tree. The community is invited to attend and is asked to bring non-perishable food items. Girl Scouts will be there to collect the food to share with those in need in our community. For more news and weather, download our free KATV News and Weather apps. From the Channel 7 Newsroom, I'm Cassandra Webb.
Join Kevin McPherson, Arkansas's premier basketball recruiting analyst, each Friday on Drive Time Sports. Brought to you by Fence Brokers. Fence Brokers, going the extra mile.
Weather from the Fletcher Weather Center with Channel 7's Melinda Mayo.
More very warm air for November with highs back up in the low 80s today, mostly sunny and breezy. And tonight slowed down to 65. Another day around 83 tomorrow, then good rain chances Thursday. From the Channel 7 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Melinda Mayo.
Fletcher Dodge wants to buy your car. We'll buy any make or model, and we'll pay you more than anyone else. Please turn your old car into cash at Fletcher Dodge in Sherwood.
Double B's presents Joseph Pinion when he joins Randy and Rick each week on Drive Time Sports. Double B's is an Arkansas company with over 34 locations and growing strong across Arkansas. Double B's, where you gas it, grab it, and go. That's Double B's.
The numbers don't lie. Barry Brandt is the GOAT of Arkansas weather. 36 years experience and double the viewers of any other meteorologist. No nonsense, no hype, just accurate weather forecasts you can trust. That's why more Arkansans get their weather from Barry Brandt over any other source. There's just no question. He's the GOAT. Chief Meteorologist Barry Brandt. Weeknights on Channel 7 News at 6 and 10.
RJ Hawk here with Chris Roberts from Southern Bank. And Chris, I know interest rates are high right now. That's what everybody's talking about. But if you're thinking about a project, whether it be a commercial project or you want to build a house, now's the time to come talk to you about what those future plans may look like.
You know, RJ, no matter what the business environment may be, we're always there to sit down with our customers and talk about their future plans and what's going on with their businesses.
And that's one thing about Southern Bank is they're a community bank. They want to be your partner.
Partnering with our customers is a key to how we do business.
And Chris, you know, we talk about those interest rates being high, but the one good news out of that is deposit rates.
We have some great CD and checking account rates. Just give us a call and see what one of our personal bankers can do for you.
If you want more information about interest rates or those deposit rates that we just talked about, call Chris and his team today at 501-424-0900 or go online at bankwithsouthern.com. Southern Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
I'm Rachel Parker Harding for Parker Cadillac. Get ready to arrive in style on game day in a luxurious certified pre-owned Cadillac. Choose from XT5, XT6, Escalade, or sedan models. Parker Cadillac has the largest inventory of certified pre-owned Cadillacs in Arkansas. Plus, all Parker Cadillac certified pre-owned customers receive 2 years, unlimited miles of complimentary oil changes. For more details, visit parker-cadillac.com.
Is your marriage over? Assets? Debts? Custody? For divorces, hire the Lions. There's no one better to protect your pride than our pride of Legal Lions. Exceptional communication and exceptional results in both the negotiating room and the courtroom. Lion Legal, the legal pride of Arkansas. Call 227-ROAR and Lion Legal will come roaring to the rescue.
This year, elevate your style in a Cadillac. Go from bold to bolder in a stunning Escalade. From inspiring to awe-inspiring in a sophisticated CT4 or CT5. From credible to incredible in a dynamic XT4. Visit your Central Arkansas Cadillac dealers.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So, while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ziprecruiter.com/free. That's ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Live from the Hoggs Meat Market Studios, this is Out of Bounds.
They're zoning defensively right now. Davenport in the key. Brazil with a one-hand dunk. He dunked that one over Jeremiah Gambrell. Gambrell 6'3", Brazil 6'10". That one was not fair. Blake with a rebound. Ahead to Arbogast. They couldn't get the shot away before the horn sounded. They tried to get it to the walk-on. That's it. Hawks take their season opener.
Yeah.
With John Nabors.
Every time you put a mic in my face, I'm going to say Arkansas.
And Joe Franklin.
We won't go into shell. We're going to go into attack mode because that's what's required.
On 103.7 The Buzz.
tastes like Kool-Aid for the analyst. Girl, I can buy your Westie world with my base stuff. I know that it's good, won't you sit it on my taste buds? I get way too petty once you let me do the extras. Pull up on your block and break it down, we playing Tetris. AM to the PM, PM to the AM phone. Eat up your per diem, you just gotta hate them phone. If I quit your BM, I still rock Mercedes phone. If I quit this season, I still be the greatest funk. My left stroke just went viral. Right stroke, put a baby.
2 hours down, 1 hour to go. Appreciate everybody listening in on this beautiful day here in the great state of Arkansas. John Nabors, Joe Franklin, broadcasting live from the Hoggs Meat Market Studios with you today. And thank you as always for making us a part of your afternoon this afternoon. It's been a great Trigger Tuesday so far, and we really look forward to finishing out strong here on Out of Bounds because just like every Tuesday, we have an opportunity to be joined by Razorback offensive lineman Josh Braun, thanks to Matt Black Allstate Insurance. Now, it's always been great to talk with Josh, but as we've talked with him last week, it's been too long since we've been able to talk about a win. So this was a really special interview that we had with him, and to be able to discuss not only the game but moving forward was a really good one, and he had some really good quotes from it too. So let's go ahead and hear from Josh Braun himself and what he thought of the Razorbacks' performance over the weekend down in Gainesville.
And Josh Braun is brought to you by Matt Black with Allstate Insurance. Matt Black with Allstate can take care of your home, auto, boat, motorcycle, life, renters, and landlord insurance. Are you in good hands?
Right now, we have a very special guest, like we always do every Tuesday here on Out of Bounds, and this time it's going to be a little bit more of smiling after Arkansas took care of business against the Florida Gators for their first SEC win and their first win in Gainesville. It is Razorback offensive lineman Josh Braun, thanks to Matt Black Allstate Insurance. And Josh, really appreciate you joining us. How you still feeling after getting that win down in Gainesville?
Feeling great. I mean, definitely the high has worn off a little bit, but it's just I've been looking forward to this for a year. So it's finally good to have your dreams realized. But, I mean, we still got three more games, still trying to get bowl eligible. So right now our focus is keep on winning and keep going.
So there's a lot we're going to try to unpack because there's a lot of layers to this whole game. But we'll start with, of course, getting the win was awesome. But what was that experience like? Because I know you guys won your first 2 games of the season, and then you had lost 6 straight, and all of them so close. 1 possession games, I think, what was it, 5 of the 6. And then this one, going to overtime, going on the road. Just what was that feeling like, not only for you as an individual, but just for the entire team for what you guys been through to finally get that win?
Coach Pittman's been preaching these past couple of weeks that we just need a taste of victory. We need to be reminded of how good it feels, and it felt amazing. It was just to be in the battle with your brothers a week in and week out, and not being able to taste that until this week. Once we finally got the victory, it was just. I mean, the locker room after the game was insane. I don't know if some videos have been circling. I think some guys hopped on Instagram Live, so hopefully some of the fans were able to partake into the celebration. But I struggle to put it into words. It was just probably one of the highlights of my football career and probably one of the best afternoons of my life. Top 10, definitely.
So when you think of of course, winning is the biggest thing, but offensively too, you guys had almost 500 yards offense. You had great success running the ball. You had your first 100-yard rusher with Rocket, and of course, KG almost had 100 yards rushing, and he had some big plays too. Just what did you feel like, from your perspective, made the offense have so much success in this particular game and be able to not only put points up on the board, but also have really effective drives?
Yeah, I hope some of the Razorback fans can forgive me for how I avoided some of the questions about the offense last week, and I hope they realize that it was in our favor to be unpredictable. Going out on Saturday with a brand new offensive coordinator, we were really sort of a wild card. I mean, they knew who we were as players, but they didn't know we were going to go high tempo, and they didn't know we were going to go as fast as we did. And so that really played into our favor. Just coming out and surprising them with different formations that we hadn't ran previously. I think we hadn't gotten to empty formation maybe 2 or 3 times all year, and we relied on that throughout the game on Saturday. And we did some good things out of there that we're going to try to capitalize on in weeks coming up. But yeah, I mean, all those things that the defense didn't really know what to prepare for. And Coach Guyton did a brilliant job of calling plays that were working, and he was able to ride the plays and ride the momentum during the game to put us into the best situations that we could be in. And I mean, just because we won, we can't ignore the fact that the problems that we had in weeks past were still there. I think we were 50% touchdown scoring in the red zone, but ultimately we were 100% red zone scoring, which you always want to be as an offense. But we need to turn those field goals into touchdowns. And once we do that, I mean, the games shouldn't even be close. I mean, I think obviously it was 14-0, and then we let them back in it. And I think, did you tweet that it was reminiscent of the BYU game? Was that
Yeah,
you?
gave some vibes to it. Yeah. Yeah, may have been.
I mean, that's kind of what that wasn't the feeling on the sideline, but it was, we're not going to let that happen again. We need to focus. The job's still not complete. Even though we're up 14-0, it's still, there was, how many minutes were left in the first quarter? 12?
Yeah, it was like
we only played 3 minutes of the game. So
yeah.
I remember I joked with Brooks Edmondson that if we kept this up, it would be, what did I say? It was like 70-0 at half, because we scored twice in 3 minutes. So 10 times in the first quarter. So, 70-0 in the end of the first quarter. So, I mean, just because we came out with the momentum that we did, we needed to sustain it and understand that even though we started fast, this upcoming week against Auburn, if we start fast, we need to continue that throughout the second quarter and into the third quarter and until the end of the game, because, I mean, we let Florida back into that game. It shouldn't have been close in the first half. And, I mean, at the end of the game, we caught a lucky break. And we need to focus on not letting that be an issue coming up. But, man, I'm just so thankful that we did catch a lucky break, because 6 weeks in a row, pretty unlucky. So
yeah, well, it's amazing. I'm sure, as you saw, just and maybe on social media, but like, a lot of fans have obviously been frustrated, just like y'all have been frustrated. But then it's like once you win the game, everyone's just kind of on the same page, just happy. It's like you're just in that moment too. And I know that you'll take the win no matter what it is. But as we talked about last week, was there something just a little bit more special to it in the fact that you did it down in Gainesville, in Florida, at a place that you used to play? And obviously we talked about how much family you had there to see it. I mean, it was always going to be special no matter any time you win, but did that make it a lot more special and maybe a lot more memorable for you, having your family and everybody there in your home state?
Definitely. I mean, throughout the game, it was kind of like I was playing backyard football. I mean, it's like, when you were a kid, you'd get a bunch of your buddies and you go out to a field and just play tackle football. And so, I mean, that's what it felt like for me. I was going out there. I knew all the D linemen. I knew most of the linebackers and the DBs. But I remember number 21 for Florida, Des Watson, we'd block each other, or I'd block him for a play and he'd rush against me. And then after the play, I'd like make a joke and he'd laugh, or he'd make a joke and I laugh. And so it was just fun. It was not many people get to experience what I experienced. And I'm one of the few people who's won in the Swamp as the home team and the away team. And I mean, shoot, that's not a very long list.
Yeah.
And I mean, after the season we've had as a team, to do something that's never been done in the history of Arkansas football is very special. And it's something that we're going to talk about for the rest of our lives.
Well, I know it is. And by the way, we're speaking with Josh Braun of the Arkansas Razorback offensive line here, thanks to Matt Black, Allstate Insurance. And so I'm curious because I was watching the game, and on the final play in overtime, KJ throws that pass to Tyrone Broden and gets the touchdown. And I'm going to play this video for you, and I just want to be curious of what your thoughts are to it, because what it looks like to me is I see somebody that is reminiscent of your number coming in, and I just wanted to ask, is that how you clap normally? Is just really wide out like that right there? Is that normally? Is that how you clap, or is that?
Yeah, no, I've been told I have a weird clap. No, it was unintentional.
Right.
I did not. Going into the game, I told myself I wasn't going to do it. I mean, I have friends on that team. That's my alma mater. It's disrespectful. And I apologize to my alma mater. I hope they can forgive me, but I hope they understand that. I mean, we won in overtime. We've lost 6 in a row. It was just I was overwhelmed with emotions that it just came out. But yeah, I mean, you win in the Swamp, you have to hit it. I mean,
yeah. Well, I was actually going to give you a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. I felt like maybe it was a hybrid because it's like you didn't go all the way out, but I was like, okay, well, maybe it was actually just how he collapsed. Maybe
that's just my elbow break.
Yeah, you're just having to work. Yeah, you're stretching your arm out a little bit there. It's been a long game. So, and Josh, obviously that was a cool moment, but in the locker room afterwards and seeing the videos that have come out. But I want to ask you specifically about Kenny Guyton, Kenny G, which we know being elevated to the offensive coordinator position and the pressure that he had to say, hey, it's like, the offense has had their struggles. You need to step up into this role that, you weren't expecting to be in at this point in time in the year and go on the road against a good team in Florida and do it. And just what did you see from him and the team and the embracing of him? And also just how do you feel about him moving forward the rest of the year, being the offensive coordinator now that you got to see it in action against Florida?
I think the first thing that stands out is just his passion. I mean, he's passionate about the game. He's passionate about us as players. And I think the results speak for themselves. I mean, we scored, it should have been 40 points, so 33 offensive points throughout the game. I mean, to do that in the swamp, that's a great accomplishment for his first game as an offensive coordinator. That's something he's going to hang his hat on throughout his career. And it definitely gives us all confidence going into the games throughout the rest of the season. It's just he's been an offensive coordinator for a game. We've been in his offense for a game. I think we're just going to see better and better results going forward. And I think we trust him more, just seeing his play calling throughout the game. It's just natural to, once you see the results, you have just quantifiable statistics that show that you're doing the right thing. It's definitely easier to be more confident in that. I mean, I was speaking with Brady Latham today because he was trying to sell me on the up-tempo offense last week. And I mean, I've never been a fan of high tempo. My brother's played in the triple option. My dad played in the wing tee. It's ground and pound. You don't try to mask stuff with tempo. You just go out there and you line up, they line up, and then you punch them in the mouth. But to see the benefits of the tempo offense, it definitely made me a believer. I mean, there were times where we had a play called and we were in our stances about to go and the defense was still looking to the sideline. And just to be in that situation with an offensive line, they have no idea what's going on and you know exactly what your responsibility is. It's a confidence boost and it just makes you excited to play the play.
Well, now you got to turn the page and be able to come back home, and you're going to be at home for the rest of the season in Fayetteville. And this time it's against Auburn. It's going to be a 3:00 first kick there in Fayetteville. And the last time, of course, we know a few weeks ago, it was the time where, you never want to relive that type of game again. But now, because it's still in front of you to get to bowl eligibility, you had 4 steps to get there. You've conquered step 1. Now you got to move to step 2. Just what do you make of the Auburn Tigers and also just the team returning back home in front of the home fans? And it looks like I think it's going to be like sunny and 63 degrees. So it's going to be a beautiful day. But what is that just going to mean for you? Yeah, I know how you like that. But yeah, it's like how's it going to mean for you and just for the team to not only come back with a win, but then have something more to play for in front of the fans that, they're going to show out and be able to be there to support you guys from the very beginning, or at least till the very end of the season.
We've proven we can win on the road in hostile environments, but we haven't proven that we can win in front of our fans this year in a game that matters. And ultimately, I just want to give the fans a good show. And that means beating Auburn. A win's a win, but I know the fans want us to beat them handedly. And so I think just this week, we need to not look forward into, yes, we're fighting for bowl eligibility, but once you start looking ahead, I think that's the problem with Mississippi State. We're all like, oh, we need to win this game to be bowl eligible, and then we need to beat Florida, we need to beat Missouri, and we lost sight of the fact that, no, you need to beat Mississippi State this week. This is the opponent in front of you. And so just because we're fighting for bowl eligibility, we don't need to lose sight of the fact that we have an opponent this week. It doesn't matter that we play FIU in 2 weeks and then Missouri the Friday after Thanksgiving. It's this week. This is the game that needs to be played. And Auburn's got a great defensive line. They've got some good interior guys, number 50 and 52. They're strong and powerful and athletic. But we play in the SEC West. Every SEC West team is going to have strong, athletic interior defensive linemen. So I think if we can get them on their heels and come out swinging and just keep our foot on the gas and not let up in the second quarter, I think how many points did we score in the second quarter against Florida? 3?
I believe so. Yeah, 3 points, I believe.
Yeah. So I mean, we came out and scored the first drive of the game. That was great. We need to figure out how to replicate that throughout the game. And so when we play Auburn, I think we need to come out fast, and that needs to be our mindset every drive. We need to treat every drive like it was the first drive of the game and take it drive by drive. We don't need to think about I think some offensive coordinators will tell you that going into a game, they have a number that they hit, and if they hit that number of points on the scoreboard, they feel confident they will win. We don't need to think that. We need to think that we need to score every time we have the ball and just focus on the task at hand. And you can take that quarter by quarter, drive by drive, or play by play. But at the end of the day, we need to score consistently in the red zone, and we need to put our defense in the best position possible to win us the game.
I'm going to take credit for something because I said on the radio show this past week that if you guys scored 30 points, you're going to win. So I'm going to take credit for that because you guys scored over 30 and you guys won. So your coordinator maybe not look at the points, but I'm going to look at the points. Now we guys need to score. So and also too, Josh, how again the winning and everything, the celebration, but then you also have the accomplishments that come in after. I don't know how much you look into this, but especially since one of your teammates wanted to ask you about Bo Limmer being the offensive lineman of the week in the SEC. Just what does that mean for you as obviously being a teammate of his, but being an offensive lineman alongside him too?
That's fantastic for him. I mean, it's been an honor to play next to him all year, and just seeing the work he puts in and day out, he earned it. I mean, he's been working his tail off all year, and he's been fighting through injury after injury, just trying to put this offensive line in the best position possible to produce yards and points for this team. And to see him be recognized on the national stage is just great. I hope he's able to parlay this into boost in draft stock if that's in his future. But I feel happy for him, man. It's been a rough season, and for him to get this nod, it's just great.
Also, how awesome is Cam Little when you have a kicker like that you just feel confident that, hey, as long as we get past midfield, we feel good about it. I mean, he goes 4 or 5, and even the one he missed, I mean, was just by that much. But, just having a weapon like that on the offense where you guys want to score touchdowns, that's the goal. But knowing that if you can't do it, you still got somebody like Cam to be able to at least get half of the points that you guys would have scored.
I mean, it's just a relief. I mean, it's you never want to come off the field. I mean, whenever it's third down, you want to get a first down, but I don't want to say it's I think we've had enough of the moral victories.
Right.
But even though you fail to score a touchdown, or even hopefully from now on fail to get into the red zone, because when you get in the red zone, we're going to score a touchdown. That's the motto going forward. Yeah, but let's say we get the ball to the 40, to know that if we get the ball to the 40, we're going to make some points on the scoreboard. I mean, with the way our defense been playing, we get the ball about at the 30 to the 40-yard line on the minus 30, minus 40. And so we need to get 2 first downs, and then we get 3 points. I mean, we can get 2 first downs every drive. At least we're supposed to be able to.
Well, and also, I know it was very unfortunate to see that Sam Pittman said in the press conference about Ty Washington, looks like he's going to be out for the year. And I know he's a guy that it just seemed like he was always the opening drive guy, man. Like, it seemed like all the opening drives, he was always having big plays, had him in against Florida. But it's unfortunate for him. And obviously, we knew Luke has and getting injured earlier this year. I actually had your dad send me your highlights as being a tight end. So if you may need to step up. I know there's been some injuries to this guy, so you may have to go back into that role of a tight end. And I saw the moves, saw the hands out there, man. You could probably do it still, I think, out there.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've got great hands. It's just I've put on a little bit of weight since then.
Hey, that's okay. Hey, Jason, Jason Peters, one of the all-time great NFL offensive linemen. He was at Arkansas. He played tight end, and he was 6'6", 300 pounds, and he just played tight end, and he was great at it. So just don't sell yourself short. You can still go out there as the size of an offensive lineman and play tight end.
Oh, I gotta talk to Coach Kennedy about that. See if he approves.
Yeah, I'm sure he will. So, and also, again, Josh, I want to go back to the deal with your family being there, and just what was that like in that message? I saw you have pictures taken, of course, with the family and everything, but what was that like for them being able to not only see you and witness the first SEC win you had as a Razorback, but to do it in Florida. I know how you felt about it, but how did they feel, and what was that like interacting with them after the game?
Yeah, so I'm gonna go wide, and then I'm gonna bring it back into focus.
Okay.
But so this was the first game that I've won that I've had to get onto an airplane since November of 2020. So I have not won an away game in, was that 3 years?
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah. So that's point one. Point two, I have not won, and this goes for my brothers as well. We have a poor track record of winning games when my parents are in attendance. We like to tell a story of my oldest brother was playing North Carolina, I believe, when he was at Georgia Tech. And we were running behind because we had to drive up to Atlanta. And so we're walking to the game during the first quarter. So we're walking to the stadium, and Georgia Tech's up. I think it's 21-3 at the end of the first quarter. It was some wild number. And as we stepped foot into the stadium, they threw out Georgia Tech starting nose tackle for targeting. And as soon as we set foot in the stadium, it went from 21-3, and ultimately they lost the game by like 2 scores. And so that's point number two. I haven't, let me see, when Ezzy has gone to my games twice, and we don't have so my sister-in-law has gone to my games, and we don't have a good track record of playing well when they go to my games. And so my mom asked me earlier in the season, she said, do you want us to stop coming because maybe you'll win? And I was like, no, because if you don't go to one game, if we don't go to, let's say, the Alabama game. Now, I don't know how superstitious Arkansas fans are. But
they very much are, so yeah.
Well, don't get mad at me for this, but she said, do you not want us to go to Alabama because maybe you'll have a better chance of winning? I was like, no, you have to go to Alabama because if you don't go to Alabama and we win, then you can't go to Florida. And so ultimately we tempted fate, and my whole family was able to go, and it didn't – the voodoo didn't work, but I mean, we were still able to win with them in attendance, and to do that at home with, I think we had 25 family members there. I had 25 family members there, extended family. My aunt and uncle and cousins were able to go for the first time. My cousins from Mexico were able to go. That was the first college American football game they've been to. Yeah, so I have 2 cousins from Mexico who live here now, and they were able to go to their first American football game, and they loved it. I actually got a bunch of souvenirs. I stole a towel. It's up. I think we're washing it right now. But I stole a towel. I ripped. So after the game, I went up. They have hedges on their end zones.
Yeah.
I don't know if you could see. But,
yeah.
And there were cops watching me, the sheriff officers. They were watching me as I was like walking around because I wanted to tear a branch off and take it. And so I struck up a conversation with the paramedics, trying to distract the police officers. And then I just reached down and ripped off a branch and ran inside. And this cop looked really mad at me. But, man, it's just – there's so much I want to say about this victory and how much it means to me, but I can't – words don't do it justice. After the game, so after that video of me hitting the chomp, I actually got a little choked up, and I took a knee and I was praying. And then I would have actually cried tears. But Antonio Greer came up to me, and this is something me and him have been talking about pretty much all year because he wasn't able to beat Florida when he was at USF. So this was our goal, was to beat Florida. And he came up to me and he hugged me and he's like, man, we did it. And that's the only reason I didn't cry is because he came up to me. So you can't cry in front of your boys. It's not a good look.
Yeah.
But so we embraced, and then, man, that was just. I can't verbalize it. It's very, very emotional for me.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's what everybody, at least people in Razorback land, hearing that, because that's what's unique about players like you is, here in Arkansas, everyone's just, hey, you're a Razorback, and with the transfer portal and how it's just changed everything, people are always, hey, if you're a Razorback, you're always going to be a Razorback, no matter if you were a high school recruit or if you're from the state or not, it's always going to go far. But I think that's always an interesting insight to you and what you shared with you and Greer. Just that's something I didn't even think about, as far as you guys both transferring from schools in Florida and then to beat Florida for different reasons that you wanted to do. I mean, that's the kind of unique stuff that I don't even think people like even me understand or even can dive into. So I'm glad you shared that, because I would have never even thought of that. And I'm sure it's like, if I'm trying to put myself in your shoes, I'm sure it would have meant a lot more. Same thing with Greer too. It's like, every win is going to be one that you enjoy and is going to be special. But this one, it's kind of, I think everybody's also hoping that this is the one that kind of opens the floodgates for the team to where it's like, all right, got it. Let's roll. Let's finish strong and get to a bowl game. Because I'm sure, again, you got 3 games in front of you, but that's something that I'm sure can really drive you emotionally, but also, what your focus and your goal can be to continue on and to make it not just all in void, make it worth something, and why it was worth the win too.
Yeah. I hope I'm not disappointing the fans with my inability to put together some eloquent speech about what it means to me, but it was such an emotionally charged victory. It was to the point of it was cathartic. I mean, I don't know if many people caught it, but I actually ran out onto the field carrying the Arkansas flag. I did it to start the season in Little Rock. And that meant a lot to me. I mean, those things mean a lot to me. It's who carries the flag. That I don't know if other people think of it that way, but it's a point of pride to be able to carry out the Arkansas flag. And I made sure I was one of the first people out of the tunnel. So I walked up to the guy. He usually hands it to whoever he wants to hand it to, and I grabbed it from him. So I'm sorry if I'm disappointing. People were like, "Oh man, I'm looking forward to him spewing some eloquent thing," but
no, I think that's perfectly fine. I think people who saw you on the sidelines and saw you during the game, I'm sure they can probably get an idea of exactly how much it meant, just to see the emotions and everything, which is awesome. And Josh, before we let you get out of here, which again, we always appreciate you coming on and appreciate Matt Black, Allstate Insurance, for making it possible. Just about Sam Pittman. And one of the things that I heard in the video that came in the locker room and was about, he's like, some teams, fight and some teams will quit and whatnot. And we continue to see the fight of this team, where I don't follow every single college football team, but to know what you guys went through so far this year, and then to have a significant coaching change like that and be in this position, so many teams would fall, they crumble, players would just be, mailing it in. But yet that's not what this team has done. I mean, again, you guys don't have the wins, I'm sure, that you won, as many as wins, but it's never been about lack of effort or lack of fight. Just once again, how do you guys continue to do this, where, again, other teams crumble, but Sam Pittman and you guys have continued to fight even through the toughest parts of adversity?
I think it speaks to just the character of the individuals on this team. I mean, the players care about this sport. They care about this university, whether they grew up in Arkansas and dreamed of being a Razorback, or whether this program welcomed them with open arms when they were transferring from another institution. For many people, this was their dream. They gave me a second chance at playing SEC football. A lot of the coaches, this is Coach Pittman's dream, to be coaching the Arkansas Razorbacks. To be able to, we all have a common goal, and that's to perform well on Saturdays, ultimately resulting in a victory. You're not always around coaches who truly care for their players, and you're not always around players who truly care for their coaches. Whether they're focused on the next level in both regards, or they're just using this job as a stepping stone. I think we're very lucky and blessed to be at a university where the players are fully bought in and the coaches are fully bought in. And I thank God every day to be at a program like this that it allowed me to rediscover my joy of playing the game of football. That's something that you can't really put a price tag on. I know my journey and my reasons for playing the game are mirrored in other players on the team. And so I know how much gratitude I have to the University of Arkansas, and I know how much the guy next to me is thankful that he's playing for the University of Arkansas. And I think you see that in our fight, and that even though we're 3-6, which on paper looks awful, and I'm sure teams we play look at our record and they're like, oh, they're 3-16, but it's a blessing to be able to go out every day and put in work with these guys. And I'm looking forward to changing the narrative on our record. And hopefully at the end of the year, we're 7-6.
Well, Josh, as always, man, we appreciate Matt Black, Allstate Insurance, for making it possible. And can't wait to talk to you next week. And, as great as this win was, I think, 2 in a row would be even better to talk about. Yeah. And get closer to being a winning streak. So, but we appreciate it, man. So good luck this week. And we look forward to seeing you in Razorback Stadium on Saturday against Auburn.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Edgar Award-winning author and Arkansas native E.Y. Craner joins the Zone every Tuesday courtesy of Jackalope Cycling. Jackalope Cycling in Russellville is there with bike rentals and service, camping gear, fishing accessories, whatever gets you excited about the outdoors. E.Y. Craner Tuesday in the Zone, brought to you by Jackalope Cycling. Check them out online at jackalopecycling.com.
This is SportsCenter.
In college basketball across the Natural State, Wood Rock beat Texas State 71-66 to open their season. Former Razorback and Texas A&M Aggie KK Robinson led the way for the Trojans, recording 24 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, and 5 steals in the game. Wood Rock plays UIC on Friday. Central Arkansas fell to Tulsa 70-53. The Bears play Hendrix on Friday. Arkansas State lost to Wisconsin 105-76. They'll play Bowling Green in the MAC Sunbelt Conference Challenge on Friday. Pine Bluff lost to Missouri 101-79. Junior guard Kyle Milton from Conway had 34 points on just 10 shots as he shot 15 of 20 from the free throw line. The Golden Lions will host Champion Christian in Pine Bluff on Friday. And in college basketball tonight, 20th ranked Baylor will host Auburn at 8. TV coverage for that game will be on ESPN. I'm Christian Weaver with the Buzz Radio Network.
Hey, did you know the Statue of Liberty is the largest holiday gift ever given?
That's a big deal, just like those at the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Hey, did you know when the year ends, so do the deals? It's your journey. Own every mile at the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Get 0% APR for 60 months, plus 0 payments for 90 days on the Hyundai Tucson. Now for a limited time, only during the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Offers end November 30th. Call 562-314-4603 for details.
This is the Pigskin Preacher, bringing you the word. With the addition of Oregon and Washington, the Big Ten seems well on its way to becoming the Big 20 or 24. So much for math. A lot of fans are unhappy with this new conference arms race, but others are happy that it should result in better matchups than Western Michigan, Samford, Bowling Green, and Tennessee Martin being on the docket. Regardless of what fans think, it's coming. And the reason is simple. Money. As a great rap song from the 80s told us, they did it for the MONEY. Yes, they did. Double B's is the place where your MONEY will go farther. Watch for Double B specials each month, in addition to the already low prices. Double B's. It's where you gas it, grab it, and go. That's Double B's.
After I drop the kids off, I have to run across town for a meeting, hit the gym during lunch. Jake has soccer tonight, and Emily has gymnastics? Oh, did I turn on the crock pot this morning?
With a never-ending to-do list, it's easy to forget something important, like setting up a life insurance plan with Shelter Insurance. Your local Shelter agent can show you how to create a safety net for your family. Shelter Life Insurance Company, Columbia, Missouri.
See Shelter agent Matt Warden in Little Rock, Seth Hobbs in Bryant, or Nick Gennardi in Sherwood.
Football fans, tailgate season is here, which means it's time to score touchdowns and savings for your vehicle. At All About Tire and Brake Tire Pros, we offer incredible deals and service like your daddy used to get, with the financing options that fit your budget. With our team by your side, you'll get MVP service along with the traction and confidence you need to stay on the road. Visit us online today at allabouttireandbrake.com. All About Tire and Brake Tire Pros. Love the drive.
Jackalope Cycling is passionate about the Arkansas outdoors. To help you enjoy this beautiful state, Jackalope offers an array of bike rentals to get you on the trails.
What about fly fishing from a bicycle?
You can't do that, but Jackalope also offers fly rods, reels, waders, fly fishing accessories, outdoor and camping gear.
Yeah, it'll be tough riding a bicycle in waders.
But you can still enjoy the Arkansas outdoors with Jackalope Cycling in Russellville or jackalopecycling.com.
ZZ Top. Leonard Skinnerd. Two American institutions unite. The Sharp-Dressed Simple Man Tour. April 18th, Simmons Bank Arena. With Blackstone Cherry. On sale now at Ticketmaster.com. ZZ Top and Leonard Skinnerd live.
At Southern Floor Coating, coatings are all they do, and they won't be beat on price. Factory-trained installers using the purest form of polyurea with UV stability for all your outside projects. When you call, you'll talk with a professional interested in your project, not a voicemail. Don't trust a fly-by-night company that may not be in business next year. Transform your patio, porch, or pool deck and call the real pros at Southern Floor Coating. 501-402-4912 or take a look at southernfloorcoating.com.
Stacked Commercial Truck and Trailer has 5 service trucks available, providing you on-site service to get you back on the road. If that doesn't do it, Stacked has a new state-of-the-art 13-bay shop for service and repair on all Class A trucks, trailers, RVs, light and medium-duty commercial vehicles, tires, brakes, AC, engine repair, transmissions, differentials, and driveline repair. Stacked Commercial Truck and Trailer Repair. Get Stacked 2 miles off 530 exit 34 in Whitehall.
We're going abroad for the first time in years. To Spain. So we started using Babbel.
And started learning Spanish fast.
With Babbel, you can start having conversations in another language in just 3 weeks.
¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas?
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
In just 3 weeks, we're starting to have conversations in Spanish. Gracias, Babbel.
Babbel, language for life. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
On your way to the Little Rock Airport this morning, you want secure parking and fast. At Expressway Airport Parking, our lot is well lighted and has 24-hour security. Only customers and employees can enter the gate. Your car and you are safe from thieves. And if you return to a dead battery or a flat tire, we're there to get you back on the road. Pay less than municipal airport parking at Expressway Airport Parking. Left of the airport entrance next to the Comfort Inn.
So have you been living life with pain and you keep saying, well, I'm going to go to the doctor, but I really don't want to do the surgery and I don't want to be on pain meds forever? Well, I have an option for you. It's called QC Kinetics. Hey, everybody, it's RJ Hawk. I just had a buddy the other day that came up to me and he said, hey, look, I keep hearing your ads. I'm going to give them a try. What's the number? I'm going to tell you right now, 501-222-8440. Look, there is absolutely no reason that you need to keep living with all this joint pain. If you've got hip pain, back pain, shoulder pain, knee pain, you owe it to yourself to go by for this free consultation to QC Kinetics. There's people all over Central Arkansas that are using QC Kinetics right now, and it's changing their life. It's giving them their life back. They use properties from your own body to heal your body. So there's no surgery, no downtime, and especially no drugs. Give them a call today for that free consultation, 501-222-8440. That's 501-222-8440. 501-222-8440.
Unlike other shows, we don't talk over each other with old hee-haw jokes.
This is bullcrap! Well, I ain't standing for this! Well, mine as hell! Yeah, they're down! They're down!
So call or text to actually be heard on Out of Bounds at 501-661-1037. You're listening to Out of Bounds with John Nabors and Joe Franklin.
Jefferson off the zone read. Play action. Pumps once. Looking deep. Tesla at the goal line. Complete. Touchdown, Arkansas. Man, is this guy a find or what?
On 103.7 The Buzz.
Down a back road where the White River runs and the southern sun makes a cousin go. What I
It's Out of Bounds here on a Trigger Tuesday. Well, one thing is never going to trigger us will be Gwatney Chevrolet, as they have some fall specials in store for you. Now we talk about the Chevy Silverado and how they have plenty of those vehicles in stock, 2023s, and even have the 2024 Equinoxes, brand spanking new, with less than 3% APR financing for those who are qualified. But they also got a lot of great selection on some used vehicles, too. I was just looking at their website at GwatneyChevrolet.com, checking out some of the vehicles that they have. They still have some Equinoxes available that are pre-owned and that are in the finest of shape. They have a few Chevy Silverados themselves. In fact, quite a few of those to choose from if you want to go the used route. They also got some Tahoes, some Suburbans, going the SUV route there, and the amount of different trucks, as well as some trucks that you probably would recognize when you go out there and seeing all the bells and whistles on them. Like, yeah, that's the one I want, because they got some of those too. So no matter what it is, when it comes to new trucks, new Equinoxes, new SUVs, new cars, they also have a great selection of pre-owned vehicles, as they say, that's good enough for mom, so it's going to be good enough for you. So check them out today. They're easily and conveniently located right there in Jacksonville off the Gregory Street exit. You can go and shop them online, just like I checked them out real quick at GwatneyChevrolet.com. And when you go over there at 1301 TP White Drive in Jacksonville, tell them Out of Bounds sent you, and I'm sure they'll treat you even extra special, because that's what we do here on this show. So they're Arkansas's #1 Chevy dealer for a reason, and it's because they're the best. So go with the best with Gwatney Chevrolet and GwatneyChevrolet.com. It's Trigger Tuesday here on Out of Bounds. Appreciate Josh Braun joining us in the previous segment. We'll have 3 and Out coming up here pretty soon, but I think it was great to talk with Josh about his experience and being there as far as when they ended up winning, and he having some jokes about him doing the gator chomp at the end of the game, which he talked about how great it felt and everything. So that was pretty funny. But something else that we didn't talk about on the interview, Joe, but I laughed because you remember a few years ago when Florida and Missouri got into that altercation at the end of the game.
Yes.
Dan Mullen had the Vader costume because it was Halloween afterwards. So fun fact about this that I didn't realize until Josh told me. So Josh Braun was on that team, and he remembers it really well, and it's probably one of the reasons why he has a very strong feeling against Missouri and Eli Drinkwitz. But he remembers that game very well. But what was funny is that the play that started it all was because of Kyle Trask getting hit in what they felt like on the Florida offense in a dirty way. Well, the guy that hit Kyle Trask was Trajan Jeffcoat.
That's funny.
Yeah, the D lineman there on Arkansas. So he, Josh last night said, he's like, I didn't even realize it was him. He's like, I didn't know it until I went up to him the other day. I was like, hey, were you the one that hit Kyle Trask in that game? He goes, yeah. He's like,
that's what the transfer portal does these days. You're going to have opposing players that end up being teammates.
Yeah, and Josh even said, so should I hate you? And he goes, no, don't hate me. Hate them, as in talking about Missouri. So, once enemies, now coming together as friends and having a common enemy. But I thought that was really, really funny because I didn't even realize that both those guys that were involved in that happen to be on Arkansas's roster this year. Before we get to 3 and Out, though, let's get Jason, who's in Hot Springs. What's going on, Jason?
Hey, John. Hey, Joe. How you doing, man?
Doing good.
Doing great, man.
Hey, John. Who's the Auburn quarterback? Do you know?
Yeah, it's Thorne is his name.
Is he pretty good or no? He's not that good this year for Auburn.
I mean, he's not bad. He's got good legs on him too. He's pretty athletic. But if you just look at his numbers, they're not the best. He has completed only 1,200 yards through the air and 10 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. While also Auburn is dead last in passing offense in the SEC. So he's not had a great year, but I think he's a good player, just needing some time, needing some development, also needing some weapons around him.
Well, because I know that how's the Arkansas defense, how's Lane Jackson and Will Paul is going to get pressure on him on that Saturday, this coming Saturday.
Well,
and then
well, Jason, if you look at the numbers, real quick for you, the Auburn is 100th in the country in sacks allowed. So they've given up a lot of sacks. Not to say that Arkansas will do it too, because they got to do their job. But there is a chance, though, that they could be getting after Thorne there in the backfield if they have a good game for it.
Hey, Joe. We got the huge basketball games now on ESPN tonight between Auburn and Baylor. So who you get to can you get your comments on that? And John, it's good to talk to you. I will see you next time. Go Hawks.
I appreciate it, Jason.
Baylor always starts off the season really strong, and we know that Auburn is unranked, but they actually happen to be a favorite in this game. So it'll be interesting to see just from that standpoint of an unranked team that's favored against a ranked team, and then two teams that are really good, and especially Baylor beginning the season. And a lot of times they start off with lesser opponents, but in this case, playing another Power 5 opponent in Auburn, it's going to be really interesting.
All right, so since we are entering into the final segment here on the show, let's go ahead and get into 3 and Out.
Kane is in the building.
Their time is done. It's over.
Over? Did you say over?
Nonsense. I've not yet begun to defile myself.
Call Kenny Loggins, because you're in the danger zone.
I play real sports. Not trying to be the best at exercising.
It's time for 3 and Out. It's been 3 hours, and we are...
Boom. Out of here.
All right, it is time for 3 and Out. A few headlines, a few storylines, a few things that we got to dive into. First off, there's quite a funny story that I completely forgot about, but it's something that got reemerged where linebacker Blake Martinez, if you recognize that name kind of like I did when I heard this story, I said, where did I know that from? Well, he announced his unretirement earlier this year amid the Pokemon card scandal, which he was signed to a practice squad to the Carolina Panthers, who have been dealing with a lot of injuries. You know, he's 29 years old, and he last played for the Raiders in 2022, but he retired in November of that season and put it out on social media and everything, but he retired to focus on his business of selling Pokemon and sports trading cards, and they referred to it as a side hustle. He bought in more than $8.3 million in value, and they even sold a card for $672,000, and he was permanently removed from the site and was accused of scamming buyers. So, guy who unretired is now trying to come back and make his comeback into the NFL after the Pokemon card deal did not go through. So I completely forgot about that story. But, hey, it's cool that he gets another chance in the NFL since, obviously, the trading card company didn't go according to plan.
NFL Power Rankings this week. Eagles are 1, Ravens 2, Chiefs 3, Jags 4, and the Lions come in at 5. But what's interesting is there's a team that's not used to being at the bottom of the rankings that is close to the bottom. The Patriots, they are the lowest ranked AFC team at 29, and Coach Belichick is having to answer questions about his job security.
Have you been given any assurances from ownership about your job status for the rest of the season?
Yeah, my focus is on getting ready for the Colts.
Do you personally believe that you could be coaching for your job this week against the Colts?
I'm going to control what I can control and get ready for the Colts.
Just how has this season, affected you personally, and has it, enhanced or diminished your desire to continue coaching?
Yeah, I do the same thing I always do. I try to do the best I can to help our team every week.
This thing has gotten so out of control. It's gotten to the point that they're even talking about making a change during the season. That's not the Patriots talking about that, but people saying that they think that could be the case because Robert Kraft did come out in the offseason and say that Gerard Mayo was a possible candidate to replace Bill Belichick someday. He's currently on the staff with the Patriots. So if you put 2 and 2 together there, then that's where people are saying that there could be an in-season change.
Well, he did say someday, and that someday could be in the middle of the season, but love the Bill Belichick answers of, on to Indianapolis, on to the Colts. So that's all he wants to do is just.
And they play them in Germany, by the way.
Oh man, jeez. Also, in some other funny news, because I always laugh about stuff like this. Not that it's a big deal or surprising or anything, but it's still just humorous to me because Michigan State, as we know, lost a game last night to James Madison at home. They're the number 4 team in the country and everything. Well, Michigan State lost that game to James Madison and also paid James Madison $100,000. Now, if you hear that compared to, say, like college football teams that get paid a lot of money to go out there and go up against some of the big dogs. It may not seem like that much, but you got to remember, basketball programs are not near as expensive to have compared to football programs. So $100,000 for the basketball program to James Madison to get the win is extra sweet for them. So it's always fun to have the upsets early in the season, but especially when you got programs that continue to try to build like James Madison getting a lot of money for it.
People's Sexiest Man Alive is going to be announced tonight on Jimmy Kimmel. The current person is Chris Evans, so he was for 2022, but it's going to be announced on Jimmy Kimmel tonight, and he's going to have whoever is announced as the winner on during the show.
Also, looks like Steve Cohen has unveiled plans for an $8 billion 50-acre park next to Citi Field that will have bars, restaurants, a casino, live music venue, tailgating, and so much more. And seeing the renderings of it, it looks absolutely insane, absolutely incredible. Probably be a lot of fun, but when you talk about an $8 billion project, that's nothing to sneeze at, so it could end up being one of the cool attractions up there next to Citi Field.
Doc Antle, who was part of Tiger King, he pled guilty to money laundering and animal trafficking, and both charges could carry a max of 5 years in prison and a fine of up to $250,000.
Yeah, is anybody surprised by him? Everybody on that show was a criminal for everything, but yet they always pointed out the other people for being worse. The Josh Dobbs stories have been awesome, but he had a great TikTok that he posted and edited himself where he put his face on the viral video of when the band Creed played at the Dallas Cowboys game. And I laugh about that because I'm like, man, you talk about who's made a bigger comeback than Creed over the past few months with the concerts and with the memes and with the videos and all of that. I mean, I think it's hilarious. I think it's funny, but they just continue to bring in a lot of praise and a lot of attention to themselves based solely on just being Creed. So I guess that'll work out for them. Either way, we appreciate all of you listening in Out of Bounds today. For Joe Franklin, I am John Nabors. Same sports show, same sports channel tomorrow afternoon. Stay tuned, folks. We got Drive Time Sports coming up next.